Maverick News presents The Rick Walker Show. Defrag your mind.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Rick Walker. Welcome back to the Maverick News Channel. Hello, Maverick family and new viewers. Is it a setup or is it a legit thing? Will it be helpful in any way? We don't know what to make of this Take Back Our Border convoy that is at this hour on its way to Eagle Pass, Texas. The convoy got underway this morning, such as it is, following reports and predictions of a convoy 700,000 strong. Well, it's a little shy of that. I'll show you. I think we have the feed here. It looks like we've got, yeah, it's fine. Bring this up. This is, well, it's freezing at the moment, but that's because it's a live feed from the road. This is one of the convoy participants live streaming from the highway. But I'll tell you, it's not 700,000 strong, nowhere near that. And this is what appears to be pretty much a truckless convoy. I was tuned in at various points during the day, heard comments from people saying no trucks have joined yet. I don't know if they will pick up trucks along the way, but this portion of the convoy left from Virginia Beach, I believe was where it originated. And I'll show you some footage from the point of origin shortly. And it didn't look like there were any transport trucks. I don't know if that matters, but it's pretty much a truckless convoy. A handful of vehicles, mostly cars, some pickup trucks, SUVs. I don't have an exact count at this time. They're on their way to the border to do, I don't really understand what. Some people tonight are sounding alarm bells, saying, don't go, it's a trap. It's a setup. We'll get into that as well. Other people think that something needs to be done down there, I guess, and they want to go down to the border to serve their country. I'm not sure how it's going to be helpful, but I do see some red flags, which I pointed out last night. And there are more red flags today. I'll share all of that with you, at least as much as I know here tonight. And you can make your own decision, your own assessment. I can only give you the information that I have and share people's opinions. Now, also, and probably even more important at the moment, is the United States and the escalating tension with Iran. And the word we're getting here is that Biden could, as early as this evening, authorize a strike against Iran. And it sounds like it might be pretty substantial. Again, no way for us to know exactly what is going to happen, but we are on alert for that. For all I know, it could happen while we're on this broadcast with you tonight. So I'm trying to monitor that. I have one eye on World War III, one eye on the border, and I'm looking straight ahead, trying to keep things on track for you. And then we still have all the tensions in the Middle East with the situation in Gaza. We also see tonight that there's some controversy surrounding Iran in Canada because it looks like some Canadians were hired to become involved in some sort of a hit, like a violent hit over in the United States. So Pierre Poilievre tonight calling on the Trudeau Liberals again to take action against Iran to secure Canada against what he sees as a national security threat, Iran. Also tonight at the very end, I hope I remember to run this, I've got something that I think will leave you feeling inspired, and I hope it fills your heart with hope. It certainly has. It certainly did that for me, but I'm old. It kind of brought back some memories, and I'll share that with you. So when we come back, we'll, I think, dig in first into this story about the situation with Iran, because the Pentagon has identified now those Army reservists who were killed in that drone attack on the U.S. base in Jordan, which has led us to where we are tonight, which is to say that the United States, it appears, is about to strike back at Iran because they're blaming Iran for the drone strike in Jordan. Don't go away. All that and more coming up right here on the Maverick News Channel.
Fighting the Great Reset by leading the Great Resistance. Maverick News. The antivirus programs for your mind. Greetings, brave Mavericks. Our quest for truth continues. We go beyond fake news. Together we expose propaganda. Together we pull others out of rabbit holes. We are maverick thinkers. We are all unique individuals. Defenders of individual rights and freedoms. Credible. Trusted. Grounded in reality. Maverick News. Defending free speech. Donate at freedomreporters.com. Do it now. Tomorrow may be too late. Maverick News. The world is watching.
Okay, so tonight, the Pentagon has now announced the names of the 3 Army reservists who were killed in that drone attack over the weekend. It happened in Jordan at a U.S. base near the border with Syria. Pentagon Deputy Press Secretary Sabrina Singh says that Sergeant William Jerome Rivers, 46-year-old of Carrollton, Georgia, Special Kennedy Layden Sanders, 24 years old, Waycross, Georgia, and Breonna Alexandria Moffett, 23, of Savannah, Georgia, are the victims Rivers enlisted in the Army Reserve as an interior electrician back in 2011, according to a statement from the Army Reserve Command. He completed a 9-month rotation to Iraq in 2018. He was part of Operation Inherent Resolve, for which he received the Inherent Resolve Campaign Medal with Campaign Star. Not the only awards that he received. We have pictures here, which we can share with you tonight. Here we go. So these pictures shared now with all media. It's coming straight off our website feed here tonight. And this is Patrick Simmons. Here. And this is Briona. So those are the images that we have for you this evening. And of course, that drone attack being blamed on Iran. I mean, all of this, in one way or another, the United States is blaming Iran because they're saying that Iran is supplying the support and the weapons and that they're backing these various groups. And because we now have U.S. service personnel dead, attacked, killed, the United States is going to respond. It's very clear. It's coming. We've seen over the last couple of days saber rattling, strong language. The one report that we saw yesterday from Fox, a military analyst saying, now it's personal. So Iran now has a target squarely on it. We know that Iran has its military on high alert. Reports coming out of, look, the word is that this attack could be authorized as early as tonight. I can't help but feel, and this is just my personal opinion, editorializing here, I feel like this, again, is a trap because it will lead to major escalation, further destabilize things, lead to, this counterattack will lead to another attack, will lead to another escalation, back and forth, tit for tat, only it's never tit for tat. There's always more of a response than there is on the initial attack, and it just keeps escalating on both sides. And that is where we're at. And it doesn't serve people here well at all. It doesn't serve Canada well. It doesn't serve the United States well. It doesn't even serve people in the Middle East well. It doesn't serve the world well because we're inching closer and closer and closer to a full-blown Third World War, kinetic war, and maybe even a nuclear conflict. Here's Donald Trump's response to this. He says Barack Obama will attack Iran in order to get reelected. Do you get it? Saying that Biden isn't really in charge. That much seems pretty clear, given that he can't string two sentences together in any kind of coherent way. He can't make a speech without screwing things up, and he slurs his words. He is not up for the job. And Trump saying out loud what everybody else is thinking, and some people are saying it, is that Biden is a puppet. And there are people behind him and above him pulling the strings. He's saying Obama, and probably by extension, the Clintons, and maybe others. And we have this. I need to, 7 hours ago. Now I'm going to run this clip, and this is of Biden. I need to confirm this as being, no, I don't think this is real. I think this is freaking fake. Fake, fake, fake. This is a fake video of Joe Biden, and it looks like he's calling for the draft. Wow. I'm not going to run it. And it looks bang on dead real. Bang on dead real. It looks totally authentic. And it was just thrown in front of me right now. And I don't think, nope. That is what we're up against here every night now, folks. That's what I'm up against every night, sitting in this chair, bringing you news, trying to make it as current as possible. And talk about propaganda. This artificial intelligence stuff, it is propaganda on steroids, because it looks totally real. God help us as we head into the next federal election and the next presidential election, and we're in it now. This is going to get hot. Here's Nikki Haley on what she thinks should be done in the Middle East. And what do you think? Well, we already know. She wants to bomb them. And I think that's what we're going to get.
The problem that we've had is that everybody waits for it to get bad before they do something about it. Where did this all start? None of this would have started had Biden not lifted the sanctions on Iran. You allowed billions of dollars to go in from China importing their oil. And what did that do? That gave money to the proxies to get these missiles, to do these things, to do the training, to invade Israel. All of that happened because they got money. And Biden still to this second hasn't increased sanctions on Iran. That's lunacy, because you're just continuing to pay them for trying to now kill our soldiers. There are things we can do that are not war. But not having common sense, there's no excuse for that. And this is something where we've seen him do it with Iran. We saw him do it with Afghanistan. We're seeing him do it with Russia and Ukraine. You have to be tough. That doesn't mean starting a war. That actually means preventing war. But when countries see that you're tough and you're serious, they back off. By nature, they back off. Iran knows they can't beat America. They've always known that. But as long as they smell blood in the water, they're going to keep doing this.
Governor Haley, want to thank you for coming by today.
Thanks so much. Go to NikkiHaley.com. We're going to finish this.
It's great.
I think you need to be smart. It's not enough to just drop bombs anymore. You need to be smart. That's not to say you shouldn't be strong. You need the strength, because you need the deterrent. And you need to be willing to use it. Otherwise, there is no deterrent. But I'll tell you, you do not make friends by bombing people. You do not. You might stop something for a while, but you bomb people and you make a lot of enemies over a long period of time. Sometimes I guess there's no choice. I mean, somebody's coming at you with a gun. you defend yourself, right? But I think you need to strategize. I think you need to be smart about these things. We'll see where it goes. The problem is, I don't think Biden is very smart. Well, it's not even about smart. It's about whether you're lucid. Also tonight, Canadian trucker James Sowery has been sentenced to 10 months in jail. Now, he had a trial, I believe it was months ago, many months ago. And he was found guilty on a charge of, well, look, he was swerving his vehicle, and it looked like to the cops, they said they accused him of trying to run a police officer over. This was during the Coots blockade. So they arrested him, and he was charged, chose trial by jury. He was found guilty by the jury, not by a judge. And today he was sentenced to 10 months in jail. So I just thought I'd bring you up to date on that. We're going to get into this situation down in Texas. Let me just bring the feed back up here and show you where we're at with the live feed with the Take Back Our Border Convoy, which is heading right now to Eagle Pass, Texas. Here it is. Looks like we lost our feed. When they're traveling like that, relying on data to stream, it's sometimes, here we go, we got it back. So we have this feed. There are a couple of other feeds too that are sort of like official feeds on the Telegram channel, but this is essentially, like I say, a truckless convoy. So I'm just still trucking down the highway. And as you see, it freezes up every once in a while. Going to the border. And I hope everybody stays safe. So let me take a real quick break here. When we come back, I'll have some additional material queued up to further explain where we're at, what the status is with this Take Back Our Border Convoy.
The New World Order. Government overreach. The Great Reset. Mainstream media lies. Now more than ever, independent voices are needed. Donate now at freedomreporters.com. That's freedomreporters.com. Maverick News. The antivirus program for your mind.
Okay, I'm back. So, this whole thing kicked off this morning. Now, over the weekend, we talked a fair bit about this, okay? And we told you that something didn't quite feel right. We ran a clip at one point on one of the programs that we had from Fox News where one of the main organizers, former Green Beret, said that, you know, this was, well, on the Fox News report, they said that as many as 700,000, at least people, if not trucks, would be participating in this. And at the time, I was like, no, I don't see enough activity to support that claim. Now, I did keep an eye on this here, and this is how things began this morning. And again, this was in Virginia, where this began this morning. So this is the footage that we got from the kickoff. And I don't know how you get 700,000 people in a parking lot like that anyway, and I don't know, hey, maybe they're going to pick up participants along the way. There was some mainstream media there, I think some local television. And that's what the parking lot looked like early this morning. That was at 8 a.m., I believe, or just before 8 a.m. They were supposed to depart at 8 a.m. this morning, and I think they were pretty much on schedule. So that's a far cry from what we were being told would happen. Now, let me just move ahead here a little bit. And we've got some participants. And here we'll bring this up in. This is what people were saying this morning.
So I'll communicate and let you know. But yeah, you'll have a good angle, man, over there.
Cool. Yeah.
Oh, Russian collusion.
It's an international thing. Okay. Here, somebody record it. Hey, Carol.
Who's touching?
Dude, man, when I recover, I would have. I will come back. Can you record this?
Media saying this was like.
All right, introduce yourself before I start and introduce myself, please.
Well, here, we'll just listen to what he has to say.
I'm Alex, and I'm making a report for Wired News Agency, okay?
And the news agency in Germany?
Yeah, based in Germany.
What part of Germany?
Berlin.
Berlin.
Yeah.
The capital?
in Würzburg.
Okay.
Okay, can you say why you're here?
Willkommen, au America. So the reason why I'm here is because, well, right now I'm convalescing, meaning I'm getting healthier and healthier so that I can continue to apply the necessary pressure and foot on deep state. You want me to elaborate? So this right here is, if you don't know the U.S. Constitution, for our friends in Germany, we are, I think it's very similar. It's a federated system where we have 50 sovereign entities, right, known as states, and then we have another sovereign that was created by those 50 states, known as the national government. So the superior authority to the national federal government is 2/3 of the states. If they agree on something, will surpass any authority that our federal government tries to assert. Okay. With that framework, right now our federal executive branch is completely illegitimate, and it is completely conducting lawless activity since it came into place with the help of the Chinese Communist Party, with Ukrainian and other elements throughout the globe, as we see because of the financial and influence peddling of the current Biden criminal syndicate. So we have a lawless, illegitimate criminal syndicate that is sitting and squatting in our White House, right? Now, throughout history, there have been many ways to remove illegal, illegitimate occupiers, right? But our Constitution allows us to do it in a framework that's lawful, and we can also do it in a peaceful manner, exercising our First Amendment, which is the freedom of speech. The way we do that is we get the governors, in this instance, the Texas governor, on Monday last week announced he declared war on the lawless and illegitimate executive branch. That is the summary of his one-page statement. The Attorney General of Texas, the lead prosecutor of Texas, Ken Paxton, followed up with that and explained specifically what that means. So if you look at Article 4, Section 4 of the U.S. Constitution, the states agreed when they created the federal national government that the federal national government's responsibility. Why? Because it benefits China, it benefits Russia, Iran, and all of our other adversaries in the world. Because a weak America allows China to continue to rise, into first position globally, global influence. It allows Russia to move into the second position if the United States continues down this path of internal turmoil, again, facilitated by the foreign actors that I mentioned. And so when a governor announces that the federal government is now conducting lawless activity under their authority, and when 25 other states, for a majority 26, agree with that, that means a majority of the nation's sovereigns, 26 out of 50, and as you see more and more people join the convoy, the people are also going to be agreeing that the federal government is not only we've already shown that over the last 3 years that the 2020 election completely illegal, completely illegitimate, not only in 6 or 7 states, in 39 states where they changed the rules because of the Chinese Communist Party flu bio incident at the lab in Wuhan took place, changed the laws illegally on how we conduct elections, certified an illegal occupant in the White House, and now are basically, we're at like 75-80% of the country believes that. Now, if you go online, it looks like less than 75-80% because your bots and AI algorithms are trying to convince you that only a fringe number of people know that the 2020 election was illegal, right? The dynamics have changed because we have Telegram, Truth Social, Getter, Gab, Rumble, and now with Elon Musk purchasing X, we now have a venue to prove to the rest of society all of the illegalities from the 2020 election, as well as all of the illegalities and belligerent activity of this current belligerent occupying syndicate, the Biden criminal syndicate in the White House. And so to kind of to wrap it up and close, when the federal government is told by the states, the majority of the states, that they are in violation of the Constitution, which is the contract between the states and the federal government, under that article, and Article 1, Section 10, Section 3 allows the states, when there is an invasion, particularly when the federal government doesn't do anything about it, to defend themselves. So right now, Texas is defending itself from not only an invasion across the border from Mexico, they are putting on notice the federal government, particularly the executive branch of the federal government, which is outlined in Article 2 of our U.S. Constitution, and essentially saying, we are declaring war on you because you are violating our Constitution. And people think, oh, declaring war, oh, violence. No, war can look very differently under different circumstances. The first phase of this, and I suspect it'll end with only this phase, is when millions of people exercise their First Amendment, become knowledgeable, and read Governor Abbott's one-page statement, read Attorney General Ken Paxton's 3-page statement, laying out specific details on what that looks like. And when enough people start to understand that and participate and demand and reject and try to stop their friends, family that are serving in this lawless, illegitimate executive branch, to start working from within, to tell their leadership that, you know what, or I pronounce it failureship, to go ahead and stop these activities and actually help Texas and the rest of the country protect its borders, that's where we're going to start seeing resolution to this problem.
Because I need to make some details of this. I need your first name.
My name is Ivan Raiklin, Raiklin, and I'm on X, Truth, Getter, etc.
Well done. Ivan, he had no idea he was going to get that.
Okay. So we've got that. Nothing surprising there, I don't think, to anybody who watches this program. That kind of explanation, I think, is familiar to most of you. Now, I don't know what exactly they plan to do when they get to the border, because it looks like it's a it's going to be a standoff between the state and the federal government, with the National Guard sort of caught in the middle if it escalates to that point. And what the people are going to do, I'm not exactly sure. I'll say this, I sure as heck wouldn't want civilians to get involved in any kind of violence or armed dispute or conflict. And I don't know that civilians have any authority to effect arrests or take any kind of actual physical action against people entering the country illegally. So beyond protesting, I just don't know what else they would do down there. And maybe that's all they have planned, but it sounds like some people are going down there with a variety of things in mind, which should be, I think, a concern to people. Here are some speeches from this morning that that kicked off this convoy.
Zones at home and come and join us for this. It boggles my mind, and it tells me everything that we did as Marines. It tells me everything that our service members have done all over the world has been well worth this. This is the start of something big, folks. Our team, which is my buddy YG here, YG Nightstorm, and this is an ecumenical. I want to give you all the parameters here real quick as best I can. This is an ecumenical thing. We don't care what you believe or what you don't believe, okay? What we do believe is in America. Yes, we believe the fact that this Constitution is inviolable.
Amen.
And we do believe that God Almighty gave that. We do. My buddy YG, I'm a Roman Catholic, okay? But I used to lead the Christian Coalition here in the local area. So yeah, I've got experience in those areas. And today is the beginning of something new. We did first landing right here in Virginia Beach last April. First landing, 1607. That's where our founders first stepped foot on this continent and dedicated this land to Jesus Christ, and the gospel would go forth from this land.
Hallelujah.
This has come out of it. This has flowed from it. And our buddies in Texas, that Robert Agee, Donica Hudson, the other part of our team that did that, are all waiting for us in Texas.
Amen.
And the fact that you would join us here today, I could go through walls now for the fact that you have done what you've done for us in supporting this.
We the people!
Stand up, America! Now, the one thing I want to stress, because the fact is that we've gotten bad press already. People are making up all kinds of stories that aren't true. This is all about being a peaceful, peaceable demonstration.
That's
to go forth and to say that we are followers of our Lord Jesus Christ, who is a man of peace. And that we will stand there and we will intercede in prayer, because we don't want our National Guard guys taking the brunt of everything going on. They've come out of their homes and they've sacrificed their families, environments to be there and defend us. So we're going to go there, and we're going to have thousands. I'm hearing 40,000 truckers coming from all over the country in Canada. Holy mackerel.
God bless our truckers.
So I want to encourage you. We just ain't going to be no Maribas and Massa, the whole thing of in the desert of complaints and all that stuff. We're going to get stuff happening as we go. We all know that. This is somewhat of an uncoordinated. We only started this 3.5 weeks ago. So we've gotten to this point in a very short period of time. God has opened doors that no man can close, and he's closed doors that no man can open. And we're going to live like that.
We're led by the Lord.
Amen. But so as we go, there will be disruptions, and we're going to address that in a manner that loves one another, that the Lord called us to love one another. And we will do that as we go. And we will be the best of citizens in this country to show that's what it's all about. So we ask you to be patient. Right now, the first perturbation, the first screw up we've got going is I-64 out here, which is what we're going to take going out to Emporia, is already backlogged. It's already backed up. So we're finding a redirect of traffic to go down Military Highway and probably out the other side. So you're going to have to hang with me as we kind of, progress along that route. that my buddy YG here, he is the executive director of an organization called Church Militant St. Michael's Media. He's out of Detroit, and he is with us the whole way.
Yeah, what's up, buddy? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
All right, so I want to say, first of all, good morning, everyone. Good morning. Okay, and I need you guys to come a little bit closer because this is about family. Okay, this is not about violence, but this is about a love for our Lord and a love for our country. And right now, our country needs a revival. We are going on the streets. We are talking to Black, white, Jew, Gentile, Protestant, Catholic. Everybody is needed right now. Because we all knew these days was coming. If you ever been following the Bible, we knew these days was coming. Amen. And we are privileged to live in the days right now. Amen. And to serve our Lord. So we are going on this journey together. And we're going to need everyone. As we said, no violence. But we're going to launch a revival that this country has never seen. Yeah. We're going after the young. We're going after the old. America is the greatest country on God's green earth. Because of us, the people. Because of us. And that is what this is about. Yes, we want to protect our borders. We understand people are running from all kinds of dangers. But everybody has the right to secure their home. And it's unfortunate that our president, he can protect everybody else, but I call him an absentee father for America. You can't go out and protect everybody else and leave your own home unsecured. Amen. You got to be a better daddy to your people. Amen. So we want to make sure we're protecting our home. We are praying. We are coming together, and we are going to launch this greater than anything you ever seen. So God is our victor, and without him, there is nothing. Amen. So I need you to come in just a little bit more closer because we got to pray.
He used to be a Baptist minister. And then
Can you tell? Can you tell? I was Baptist, I'm Catholic, but I got love for everybody because everybody loved me. The reason why I'm standing right here is because Black people and white people, Catholics and Jews and Protestants rescued me. So can we pray real quick?
Before we pray, because we're going to close it with prayer, okay? Yeah. I want you to know, these are the faces as we go towards our destination. Joshua Macias, Veterans for America First. He and I work together. He's chaplain for that. He lives locally here. That's down there. We got a little sign on a little sticker or sign on the side, Veterans for America First. I also represent them in a role at Veterans for America First. Mm-hmm. Ivan Rankin down here. He's going with me. Ivan is a fundamental defender of the injustice done to our guys at J6.
Amen.
Oh, no.
Thank you.
Love you. 2 days out of surgery.
I got this. Back up.
All right. Let's go, brother.
Hi, man.
Let's go, brother.
Big dog.
You got it.
Yeah, baby. Yeah. Stand up.
You got it.
It's great brand, isn't it?
You got it.
It's just a broken leg. It's no
Hey, tis but a scratch.
Okay, now we go.
Now you know.
There we go.
And now, my buddy Vinny down here with the hat on. Vinny right here. He and I did the trucker convoy 2 years ago. And these guys organized, and we got Kip out in Texas, out in Louisiana waiting for us. And Vinny's got, what's it, TOBB?
Yeah, everybody, if you're going to be in the convoy, put Zello on your phone. Remember, the channel is going to be TOBB. Take our border back. You'll all be able to listen to what the front truck and the tail gunner are saying. So everybody knows, they think, normally you think lane one would be your right lane. It's not. Lane one is the left, count over, left to right like you're reading a book. So if they say go to lane 3, you're the third lane over. Okay, when we're on a 4 lane. So on and so forth.
Lane 1, convoy!
Lane 1 is the high-speed lane, all the way there. All right. God's guiding you. Amen.
TOBB on Zello.
On Zello.
So you've got to download the app Zello in order to be able to access that. And then Josh and I will coordinate that with Vinny as time goes on, and we'll have that worked out because we'll work the bugs out. Those bugs are coming inevitably, but we'll work the bugs out.
Is there a CB channel we're running to?
I've got a CB we're going to set up in here, and we'll coordinate that. Now, our next stop
Channel
between
37.
here is Emporia, okay? Let me have a show of hands. How many of y'all are going with us? How many of y'all are going today? Okay. So Emporia is our next stop on 58 all the way out to 95. And we'll get some of those bugs ironed out by the time we get there, and we'll get that word out. But we got folks coming in from the northeast on 95 who will be joining us up.
Okay, so that shows you how things kind of kicked off this morning. We're going to show you some footage of these guys leaving to give you a sense of the scale or scope of this. Hang on, we have to, by the way, we have to credit Ford Fisher for this footage. And we have a little bit of a lag here. Bear with me. As soon as we get caught up and the digital technology cooperates, we'll get you the footage. I'll bring you some more live feed here in a moment as well. In fact, why don't we dip back into that while we wait for this other video to stop spinning and spinning and spinning. This is live footage gained from the highway tonight. As I say, at last word, there is a convoy, but not really of transport trucks. Last I heard, no transport trucks had joined. Don't think that necessarily matters. It's about people participating, the number of human beings, I guess, and total vehicles. How many exactly we have here in the procession tonight, I'm not exactly sure. So I don't want to give you a number, but I'll try to get you some kind of indication on how many before we sign off tonight. Now, as I say, though, some people are sounding the alarm on this. They say that, well, they view this as a potential trap. Another J6, not in the sense that it's like some sort of a, what should I say? Not like an insurrection. That's not what they're concerned about. To them, this is sort of a trap where people might end up being arrested. So here is now footage of the convoy leaving earlier today from Virginia to again give you a sense of, here we go. I had it queued for you. Here we go. Yeah, right here. And they've got that big bus, right? Don't really know exactly what the story is behind that bus, but being given a place of prominence front and center. And here we go. I've got it. Okay. This is what it looked like as they were leaving Virginia this morning. Here we go. Bus right up front and center. Big vinyl wrap all over it, decorated, political messages. As you can see, really no transport trucks, but 1, 2, 3. 4 vehicles behind, trailing so far. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. $15, $16, $17, $18. We're in the vicinity of about 20 vehicles. That was this morning. I would expect they've picked some vehicles up along the way, and there may be other people coming from other directions. With this being the main pickup, I don't see how they can possibly expect to get, well, what's supposed to be 700,000. Then we heard in that speech 40,000, all kinds of numbers being thrown around, but I don't see that happening. Especially when you're not getting much coverage on this. I can also tell you that even through independent media, not much coverage. They did get a big splash from Tucker Carlson and Alex Jones over the weekend. That is really what ramped all this up and got people really, really pumped up. But it just hasn't materialized. Now, I'm not exactly sure why, but I'm certain of one thing. One of the reasons they're not getting the numbers is because there have been a lot of people online issuing warnings saying, stay away from the border. It's not safe. Here's an example of that. This is from a channel called Love Travel Adventure. And he just posted within the last day this, again, like a warning. And he seems to have a bit of a following as well. I'll let him explain why in his own words. We have this from him tonight. And here we go.
Okay, everybody, this is
hang on. Wrong speed. There we go.
This is an emergency broadcast, and it's coming from the bottom of my heart. And I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong. I just know what I know because I've had a different life experience than most of you, and vice versa. Everybody wants to go get on this convoy and go down to the Texas border and go down to Eagle Pass, and we're going to rise up. We're going to take our borders back. And I've got to say what I'm going to say, but I've got to be very cautious. But I'm going to show you a couple screens. First and foremost, let's show you this. Let's put this up. This is the Take Our Border Back Convoy. That's the website. Take Our Border Back Convoy. Now, if you go into that and you look at some stuff, the website is being managed out of Arizona. The company that runs the website is based out of Florida. You have to go do your own research on this. Don't believe me. And then as you scroll down this, let me scroll down this page for you. As you scroll down this, there's a Green Beret retired lieutenant colonel that's putting himself at the forefront on this website. Here he is right here, picture-wise. Give me 1 second. There he is. There he is. You see that on the screen, babe?
Yeah, it's going down right now.
Pete
Lieutenant
Chambers.
Colonel retired, Pete Chambers. He was he went in the Army back in '83. I'm going by memory from the article I read. There's quite a bit of information on him on the website. He went in the Army, became a Green Beret, and also ended up getting out, becoming a doctor, and I think going back in and serving as a doctor, but I didn't read all that because I've been trying to put all this together. And I don't want to do a clean stream where I've got the nice little background and all the stuff behind us. I want to get this out because these guys are leaving Virginia Beach, which is a place very near and dear to my heart. I lived there for quite a few years on the ocean front. And it's not just truckers. Let's get past that whole BS lie too. It's not just truckers. This is a lot of people. They're saying 700,000 strong. But see, here's the problem. Just like with what they claimed happened on the inauguration, if you look at the videos that are now being released, they were hidden from view. They were not shown. All the protesters then, peaceful protesting is allowed by the Constitution, right? All those protesters then got to the front of the Capitol. They had people that were in the crowd that were agitators. And then the police, which they have the videos now they've released. I think they released the videos 2 months ago, 2.5 months ago. And I'm not going to put those videos up on this. But once the crowd got to the front of the Capitol that day, Pelosi was filming. She had her daughter there and a film crew filming on their side. And they hid all those videos until the last 2.5, 3 months. And it wasn't just the Democrats that hid those videos. You guys have to understand that. It wasn't just the Democrats. But those videos show the police lobbing flashbang grenades into the crowd that was assembled in front of the gates of that whole situation. And you have that big dude, the guy that was hadn't even served any jail time yet. I forget his name. He was a tall guy.
Ray Epps.
Telling him, you got to go in, you got to go in, you got to go in. Then the police on the balcony start lobbing flashbang grenades in. And then the people go in. Somebody breaks a window and he had his face covered and they never did uncover his face. And somebody actually said he's a FED. And they broke the windows and went in. But even when they got in, the police, if you see the videos that have been released now that have been hidden from view for months, years, show them escorting the people, escorting them through. There was no chaos inside. There was no uprising. It's funny how they called the riots with BLM or protests, mainly peaceful but fiery. They call those protests. Cities were destroyed. And then they called that an insurrection. And I get all that. I understand why the narrative is that. And as soon as it happened, the press ran with it because the press is the information network of who it is. Again, I'm saying too much already. This guy, Green Beret, he's on the front page of this website, takeourbordersback.com. Once this video is over, I'll have all the links in the description of this video. Right now, they're not in there. But I want to show you some more stuff because this other stuff should really set you back on your heels because no one's talking about it. Right now at the border, let me find it. Right now at the border, let's share that. Let me see if you guys see it before I make it play. We're going to make it the full screen pretty much. Okay. Let me play this video. This was at the border. People down there with a camera. By the way, this border is not secured. There's been open gates for years. And there still are open gates. Eagle Pass is only one section. The people coming through down there, they have maps. They have hotels that are on the way. You know, this is not something that hasn't been orchestrated at every level. Listen to this guy. Somebody tries to, stand him up about what's going on for him. Let me get this down. Hold on. I'm gonna have to refresh the page. Bear with me. I have to refresh that page and let it play. And I'll turn the volume up. Pay attention to this guy.
You are really not smart enough to know who I am. But soon you're gonna know who I am. You will know who I am. But you are really not smart enough to know who I am. But soon you're gonna know who I am.
Okay, let me get back to this. Soon you're going to know who I am. He's coming across the border, just like all these other military age men. Let me show you this. Hold on. Let me show you this. And I hate to make this anything more than what it is. Let me see if I can find this. Window, let's find this. Pay attention. All you folks pay attention that are planning on going and participating in this. Okay? This is off the New York Post, and this was in December, I believe. Okay, that's showing up. 3.8 million people have come across that border. 1.5 million have sneaked in allegedly. They're saying it's more than that, but that's what they're counting for us, right? Right? Let's ask this question. Everyone has known it's been happening for years. Everyone. And nothing's been done. Everybody wants to, we're going to take our border back. Well, you got people on both sides of the aisle that support this, or else it wouldn't be happening. It would have already been shut down. It would have already been handled. Why aren't they asking? Here's the thing. If people could have done something, why didn't they? Why is it now getting to critical mass in an election year? 3.8 million. Remember that number. Remember that number. Now let's pay attention to this number, because this next number is pretty frightening. Let me pull this up. Hold on one second. Let me pull this up. All you military folks, this is the total number of active duty military and reservists that are in our military right now. But I want you to think about something. A lot of these folks are already overseas serving. This is not what's here in America, right? This is the people that are in. This is a 2021 number, but it's actually gone down in 23. They're having a tough time meeting quotas, right? What year is that? 2021. 1.32 million active duty and 799,000 reservists. You guys see that? And that's not, those people are not all in the U.S. Now, the reservists even aren't. Some of those reservists are overseas in different locations serving their country, which is the biggest con ever. You know, I've realized that since I got out. And then people are like, well, Governor Abbott's going to come to our defense. Governor Abbott. Let me stop sharing this screen. I'm about to show you something on him too. Because you want to believe, you want to look at this stuff. You want to believe that people have our best interests at heart. You want to believe that. But then you go, wait a second. Why did you want to defund the police with all this chaos? Why did you want to call this a mainly peaceful but fiery protest when it was businesses, people's lives being torn to shreds? And why isn't anybody saying anything about it? I'm going to show you this last thing. All you apologists out there for Governor Abbott. And here's the thing. I'm up in Montana. I can't go do jack. Not with my heart issues. I can't go do jack. And I don't plan on doing jack except watching. But I'm telling all of you folks that are thinking about jumping in your car or taking your truck, if you're an owner or a lease op that has the ability to do that, because a lot of the truckers don't. And you're going to go jump in this convoy and go help America. Man, you are just being set up. You are being set up like Chuck. And you want to go back to when we broke free of England. You want to go back to that, and we're going to go back to, well, you know what? Nobody knew that was happening. It was a small cadre of people that did something that was absolutely amazing. And even that, I'm sure we don't know the whole story about, because I've watched how the press is manipulated. Now they have a website for you to register. Go register. They can get your name. They can start tracking all your phones. They can track all your social media. They're going to track. Think about this. Let's just say it's only 70,000 people, not even 700,000. Let's just say that by the time they get close to Eagle Pass, it's only 70,000 people. How crazy do you think that's going to be for those towns that those people are stopping in? And you don't know who's in those crowds. You think they're vetted. Because every night when you guys stop and you take a break, everybody's, meeting up and talking and, we're going to go take our borders back. The only way to get out of this right now, the only way is voting our way out. But then we know the problems we have with that. Because here's the thing, they're looking for a reason, they being the people that pull all these strings for the puppet sitting in the White House. They're looking for a reason to declare martial law. And you guys are like, yeah, but Governor Abbott. I'd love to believe that too. I would. Let me show you one last screen, then we're going to hang this stream up. And I hate to be doing this stream because I did serve my country. I did go to war twice. I did sign on the dotted line that I'd give them the ultimate sacrifice and I didn't understand the magnitude of that until I got out, looked back, and all this stuff starts happening. And I realized, wait a second, I was just misdirected the whole time. I wasn't doing this for our freedoms. I wasn't doing this I thought I was, but I've lost more freedoms in the last 4 years than I've lost in the first 43 on YouTube.
And don't you forget it.
I've lost more freedoms in the last 3 years than I've ever lost. A white Christian male or a white Christian woman has the least voice in this nation of anybody. And God help you if you talk about God or Jesus Christ in a crowd. They just went down to Fetterman's house in Pennsylvania, who won his election, in a pullover hoodie and shorts, gym shorts, and he was waving an Israeli flag from his balcony. But the PLO supporters went down and surrounded his house. You think Christians could go surround anybody's house right now and not be mass arrested and have mass reporting on the news? And they're already labeling this a MAGA trucker convoy, a MAGA take our border back convoy. And this is actually the Colonel, was it Peterson? I don't know. I'll put the link in the description. That retired lieutenant colonel, they're already labeling this God's army. And you're just going, hey, all the people that want my name and all my social information and track my phone, because they tracked all the phones after the inauguration. The powers that be said, we want to know everybody's phone that was there, and we want all their social media accounts. Anybody that even texted MAGA, texted anything that had to do with MAGA, we want their name, we want their phone number, we want their socials. You don't think that's happening at a mass scale right now? And then you get down there with 70,000 people. How much chaos is going to happen that's orchestrated? You might be thinking you're going down there to make a difference. I'm telling you, you're getting set up, man. You're getting set up. And you're not number one, if you have this much press, you're not going to ever solve any problem. All you're going to do is get put in jail. That colonel, if he's legit, because he's former Green Beret. Green Beret is masters at psyops. I'd love to believe that he's not part of this. And God bless him if he isn't. But you don't know. No different than they saying Rob O'Neill took out Osama bin Laden. And then you have operators now coming on the interwebs for the last year and a half going, he never shot that guy. Never happened. And these are people that are tier 1 operators. It never happened. He was the pawn to get the story out. It's not me saying that. It's people in his community saying that, saying there's no way he was the shooter. Impossible. And it didn't make any sense to me when they did that, when they put him on a pedestal and began floating around the U.S. and letting him do all these open, yeah, look what I did. Didn't make any sense at all. And now his own community says, no, everything he's been doing is fraudulent. And it never made any sense till you hear their own people saying that. What's going to happen? 70,000, let's just say 70,000, put aside 700,000. They get down there and all the agitators that are in the crowd start causing chaos. And then you're standing there thinking, I'm doing something good. See, that colonel, put aside which side he's on. He has a retirement. He was a doctor. He has money set aside, assets set aside. They might seize that if he's legit, or he just might coast through it all and keep all his income. But you're putting your family on the line, putting your freedoms on the line, listen, there's people been sitting in jail for doing less than what BLM did during the George Floyd situation. And they did less. but you would never know that because the videos weren't released. Because even when and I don't want to get into all the politics of it, both sides of the aisle are just as corrupt as the other, period. That's what I believe. You know why I'm saying that? Because it's my channel. And that's what I believe. I'm just telling all you folks that are out there thinking about jumping in that convoy, you need to be very cautious. I can't believe we've been going 17 minutes. I'm going to get off of this, but I want to show you this last stream, this last piece of content. Because all you folks that see, if you ask me about anything with violence towards a woman or violence towards kids, I'm going to say it's absolutely horrible. Absolutely horrible. Put him under the jail. Well, if you're asked a question about people that you've been involved with since 2016, 2011, I think, hasn't Abbott been the longest sitting governor of Texas? He has his own page on the WEF. He has his own page. Listen to this, though, because again, it's what people don't say sometimes is just as important as what people do say. And I know you don't want to believe this. You want to believe that all these people got your back. Let's watch this. Let's watch this. And I'm going to let me start the stream up here. Let me make it so you can hear it. This is sad because this has been out since 2022. Okay. Let me back up.
Okay, I have one question.
Greg Abbott sitting with this person off of Facebook, and the guy's asking him about the WEF and whether he can denounce them or not. And by the way, all these people coming through the border have hotels and have maps provided by the World Economic Forum. They have money provided to them to make the trek from wherever they're coming in from, and they're coming in from every country. They have maps, and I can't put that link in the description of the video, but do your own research. Listen to this.
Okay. So the Klaus Schwab of the World Economic Forum has bragged publicly about infiltrating governments and grooming political leaders. Now, he's for the Great Reset, pushing for an agenda 2030, complete globalization. Do you denounce the World Economic Forum, Klaus Schwab, and the Great Reset?
Listen, I'm not a globalist. I'm a Texas first, an America first person.
But do you denounce
He didn't ask you that.
I promote Texas and America.
He didn't ask you that.
All right. Thank you, man.
All right, guys. So as you can see,
I'm going to stop it there. You guys, I'll put this link in the video description. I don't want to show that part from that point on. You're being played, man. You're being played. It's my belief, my mindset. It's my channel. You're being played. You're being set up, and you're advertising every move you're making to the people that want to know the most. You're advertising everything. There is no 1776 happening. Put that out of your mind. And you're not going to go down there and take it by force. Not going to happen. Because that's the only thing you have to do is get down there and make it something non-peaceful. That's the only thing that can happen. Hurricane hasn't talked a lot during this because she is not an American citizen yet. Okay? But I'm telling you guys, be careful, because there's a reason you're being set up. Get better, be better, do better. Please subscribe, like, comment, and share the video, man. This is probably the scariest video I've ever had to film about looking back on my life with me possibly leaving the earth because of congestive heart failure, but finally going, you know what? Let's just say it. Let's call it for what it is, without calling it for what it is, because I still want to keep my channels up.
I will say though, I'm very much documented. You'll understand what that means.
Yes.
Very
No, she's illegal.
Very much documented.
I should have gone down there and had a boat, take her across the other side, and bring her
Might
back
be easier,
across.
and it might have been a whole lot less expensive.
Should have a phone. I get some other income from her while she's living here
Because
with
it
me.
cost me quite a bit of money to do it the right way. But I would always do it the right way.
She'd be getting food stamps. She'd be getting all sorts of things if we just taken her across and had her come back.
Healthcare, anything.
Everything, free healthcare. God bless you guys. Subscribe, like, comment, and share. We're out.
Okay. I've got something very interesting to share with you when I come back. Related to all that when I come back right after this.
Maverick News. The world is watching.
So, I have to say that when I listened to that gentleman with his warning, it seems to me that it was coming from a place of compassion, love, genuine concern for you, for your safety, for his love of country. He says he hopes he's wrong. I totally get it. I can tell you too that I'm seeing some strange things and some patterns and some familiar faces even in that launch this morning. As we saw people leaving, I saw some faces in there that I think I've seen before. Not necessarily a bad thing. I'm just saying some familiar faces from the People's Convoy. Although the information we were given a couple of days ago on media outlets was that it was the organizers of the People Convoy that were involved with organizing this. It looks like there were maybe a couple of people who were at the People's Convoy who were associated with this. At least that thing kind of fell apart, as you may recall. But there's something else going on here too. And that gentleman was bringing our attention to the website for the Take Our Border Back Convoy, takeourborderbackconvoy.com. A couple of interesting things coming from that. I'll bring the website up. I'm going to show you a few things here. So as you look at this, everything looks fine. Whatever. And it isn't even so much that, there's an issue. I'm seeing some patterns and some stylistic things that make me scratch my head. First of all, this guy, this Pete Chambers, it's interesting, he posted some videos on Twitter leading up to this. And as we came to air here tonight, I went to check his Twitter feed, and you would think that on the big day of the launch, when everyone's leaving, I would think that we would get some sort of information from him. So I didn't see anything new from him, but we'll check in now. That was 15 hours ago that he posted this conduct expectation for safety document, telling everybody, how they're supposed to behave. That's 15 hours ago. Is there anything newer from that? Again, 15 hours ago, pre-launch message. Location changed for launch point. That was 15 hours ago. At the True by Hilton, Norfolk Airport, for that location in Virginia. I'm just looking for a video from him. And then that's all old stuff. Old stuff. Where's Pete Chambers? We're seeing other people post. It just seems unusual to me, odd, that we're not seeing anything from Mr. Chambers directly. Now that is the, let me just show you that. This is the Twitter account for the convoy, and there's just nothing new on there from him. It's 15 hours old from this morning, and no actual videos from him or really any of the other organizers on this feed anyway that I'm seeing. I think it's unusual. You would think that on the big day, you'd be hearing from the guy. Here's, let's see if we can, I'll go to his personal account now. That's not him. Here we go. Nothing. Nothing. It's still all the old stuff. I'll bring this up, and some other people kind of questioning kind of what's going on with him too. Give him the benefit of the doubt on this, but it just seems a little weird. Compare, contrast these two videos. It says here, take our border back convoy. This morning, Texas convoy, Pete Chambers says convoy is not about Army of God. Yeah, we knew that. Last night, Chambers' partner, Robert Aggie, said it is. Well, whatever. So, all right. They don't want to make it sound like it's some white Christian nationalist group, which is what they've been accused of. So they're backing away from that statement that it's an army of God going to the border, which sounds to some people kind of extreme. I'm not afraid of God myself, but I mean, I'm a God-fearing man. But a couple of things about this Pete Chambers that strikes me as cliche. Tucker Carlson the other night had a guy on his program after making his big appearance in Canada and speaking out in Alberta at a couple of big venues, big crowds, huge turnout, very successful events. But he also posted a video with a guy who said he's a trucker. Some people said the guy isn't a trucker, doesn't really represent Canadian truckers. And the whole thing was about the episode of Tucker Carlson was about truckers. This guy was sort of dressed in what I would say are sort of cliche, sort of a cliched outfit, you know, a plaid workers red jacket thing. And you know, I've learned a long time ago, I was told to really tell stories effectively in a way that really resonates with people. You can use cliches, and I see media doing it all the time. And I have to admit that the Tucker Carlson interview, the guy that he interviewed, it looked like his trucker outfit or his trucker clothes were a little too clean and crisp. It did look kind of, for lack of a better word, staged. Now, other people are saying the guy is legit, even though he lives in Ithaca, New York. They're saying he really was at the convoy and he really is a guy who was there for a short time, but he's also a media guy. If you go to his LinkedIn, it just seems a little odd. Anyway, there was all that. And then I'm looking at this Pete Chambers, and he looks kind of cliche to me as well. All right. I'm going to run this little video of Pete Chambers. And look at the production values. I'm a media guy. I'm a professional videographer and producer. Okay, my background's in television media all my life, so this stuff really sticks out like a sore thumb to me. And it may be nothing, but I'm picking up on the style, and I'm seeing some patterns here that are setting off red flags for me. Forgive me. I'm just going to point it out, and I hope you take note. For better or for worse, for good, for bad, I'm just noticing a pattern. Here's Pete Chambers in this video.
Hey, Doc. I know he's back in town. What's going on?
Oh, you found me. Okay, so check it out. I had to get away to clear my head. Bottom line is I figured this all out. It was in a dream last night, but I had to continue to just clear my head, and that's why I got out here. And Bandit will tell you this is amazing. It's all about a game. Texas, this is all about a game. America, this is all about a game. This is a game of elitists versus us, we the people. Elitists play polo. We do rodeo here in Texas. It's a sport. It's real. All right. So the real stuff, the real people, we do real things. We're not chasing no little ball around the greens. All right. So what we're doing is we're figuring this out one by one. What happened as the last 3 years we were doing this with the increase of fear from the globalists over us. That increase of fear has gone through the roof right now. And that is because the elitists are on their heels, because we did something that William Barrett Travis talked about an hour south of here at the Alamo in 1836. American character. It just dawned on me. I went out to get him out of the paddock, and it's American character that's what we're talking about. Because this is right here. This isn't up here. It's in here. And you got to find that. All right. So to me, the way we get through this thing is something that I learned in SEER course: survival, evasion, resistance, and escape. The little victories are going to bring us through collectively. What does that look like? That looks like a convoy of Americans saying, hey, this isn't right. The open borders of this invasion are going to be detrimental to our citizens, right? That's like a guy like me going whistleblower and saying, hey, I'm not giving these shots to my troops. That's a mama bear in a school board saying, hey, my kid's not going to learn that crap. That's what that looks like, because I respect each and every one of you, and I love each and every one of you because you have that American character. That's the most important thing that we've got. That's our tool. And like a phoenix, it's going to rise from the ashes, and it's going to come back. But remember this, they're going to get more vitriolic as we do our stuff. They're going to get a lot rougher on us, and it's okay, because faith without works is dead. I promise you, as long as we remember this, that the American character is not dead, that it can't be stopped. Because if they keep pumping up the volume on us, we're just going to keep pumping up truths, because faith without works is dead.
Amen.
Okay, so there's that. Now, forgive me, I've got another one here that this one here is, the style is more pronounced. It will illustrate my point in a more effective way. Hang on here. Right there. Okay. Notice the way it's shot, the way that he speaks. They always end this thing, I love each and every one of you, is what they say. Fair enough. And I lost the feed. Here, we'll go over here and watch it over here then. This will be better and easier. Sorry for the delay here, folks. I've got you covered, though. Pete Chambers coming up. Right here. And here he is.
It all boils down to this. There's a tree of life and there's a tree of death. What side are you on? Right now, what side are you on? Life or death? It's that simple. Life is everlasting if you accept it. The grace that was given by our Lord and Savior, paid for by his blood. Right, Bandit? Death is eternal. It's really a choice to follow the path into darkness. We the people of a republic versus those globalist privateers who want nothing less than to steal your fruits of your spirit. Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control. On one hand, we've seen over the last 3 years these kills that have been linked to multiple deaths, linked to corporate greed. We've seen crashing financial markets. The system is crashing. Banks are getting bailed out. Yeah, he says, yeah. Let's get some common sense going. Safe, patient-led medicine, right? I'm a doctor. I used to be. Self-reliant communities, permaculture farming, electroculture. We can produce so much higher yields. We want food, not insects. And constitutional common law. That's simple. So how do we do this? Number one, look for work. That's easy. Quit belly aching and carrying on and do something. Number two, working on it. Nuremberg 2.0, it's a thing. We're going to round up those criminals with this right here. We're going to hand them over to the laws, and they're going to put them in jail. And some of them are going to go to jail for a long time. We got to hold them accountable. We got to boycott anything that the corporate privateers are putting out there, anything they touch their hand to, because our parallel systems we'll supersede all that because we got the money, honey. We got to ride out the storm. We got to ride out this storm in love. John 15:13, greater love hath no man, and he laid down his life for his friend. Don't be scared. We don't live in a spirit of fear. Philippians 4:6-7, do not be anxious about anything, but in everything through prayer and petition, present your requests to God, and the peace of God that transcends all understanding will guard your heart and your mind in Christ Jesus. Remember, we are the white hats. We have the plan.
They're the white hats. I don't know if you're picking up on the language. This is the sovereign citizen QAnon movement is what that is. The reason I show you the video, though, is notice the style. Not just in the way he's dressed, you know, the cowboy. It's the pattern in the language. It's the way the camera is set up. That is not shot handheld like your average streamer today. It's on a tripod set up over here. He's walking up to the camera. It's more polished. He's mic'd. He has a microphone on that you're not seeing to get clean audio. So the production values are higher. I know all about that. Most live streamers don't do that. Some of them may have a microphone, even wireless lav, but that's a produced video. It reminded me, as soon as I saw his video, of this. And you may remember this gentleman. He's kind of dropped off the radar lately. Marcus Ray. This is a speech from maybe a year and a half ago.
My conversation last night with a gentleman who's connected across Canada with all the freedom groups actually corrected me and said we're closer to 11 million now. We've got a group of people, and it's not a small group of people, that are willing to stand for your rights and the rights of your kids. We got a group of people that are willing to put everything on the line for that result. Everything. And you know what I mean by everything. Because we're at that point now. We're at that point where we have peacefully protested. Dave and I were in Ottawa. We were peaceful. As the bear spray was going over our heads, horses were running people down. They were rifle butting veterans. We were still peaceful. But we walked away, we learned something, Dave and I, from that. We learned. We watched the way that they acted. We watched the way that they committed violence against Canadian citizens. And we knew that peaceful protests, one day, were going to come to an end. And sooner or later, you've got to stand. And you've got to stand and not back up no matter what they said. Am I right? Something is happening, and I'm going to give you hope right now because something is being built. And it's being built intelligently, it's being built with the right people, and it's going to happen. And when it happens, those people are putting themselves at risk, huge, massive risk, but they're willing to do it. And what we need to back us up is you. So what is going to happen, people, is there's going to be a phone call when it happens. And when that happens, we need witnesses. And those witnesses are you. And we need you to show up. Will you show up? The most important thing for us is that you show up because we need witnesses to what will happen. We need witnesses. Okay, and this is what we learned when we were in Ottawa.
Okay, I'm not going to keep running it. I think anybody who's been, clued into what's been going on knows what he was talking about there. And that all basically fell apart too. That was a crazy plan. And it's just evolved since then. It was a crazy plan that didn't really ever come together. They looked like they were trying some stuff. He has fallen off the radar. I think he's still out there somewhere. Controversial what he was doing. And the videos that he made, a lot of them, you know, he's got that same style. Okay. And then today, just in the last day, I've been getting these videos back in my feed from the Real Canadian Cowboy. All right. And this, no accident in my estimation. Man, there's so many things open here. The Real Canadian Cowboy. Where'd you go? I'll bring it up here. Look at this video that I'm about to run. And then compare the way this is shot, the style, the rhythm. Because, you know, when it comes to media and public speaking, tone, rhythm, it's critical. If you're a comedian, it's all about timing on the joke. When you're delivering a message to people, it's quite often most effective to do it in a manner that is a cliche. Look at this guy. Okay, this is the Real Canadian Cowboy. Is he real? Well, maybe. Maybe just a good actor. But with just in the last, these are actually old videos, but they're recycling them and putting them back in front of me. I haven't seen these in about a year. Now we're at the 1 year anniversary of, we're at the anniversary of the Convoy, okay, in Ottawa. But it was a year ago that these videos approximately were being thrust in front of people when there was another event in Winnipeg that I talked about here on this program pretty extensively. And suddenly now these same videos are popping up in front of me. And that event in Winnipeg, I had concerns about it, and I drew that to people's attention as well, in much the same manner that that gentleman who's raising red flags about this thing in Texas is raising concerns. I was raising concerns a year ago about that event in Winnipeg, and this guy was making videos at that time that were really getting people pumped up. And well, just here, watch this video and compare what he's doing to what Pete Chambers does with his videos.
How many of you out there have heard of the historical site in southern Alberta called Head Smashed In Buffalo Joe? Well, that's a site where the Blackfoot Nation, back in their day, used to, by way of stealth, push herds of buffalo over the cliffs and breaks in the ground where the buffalo would fall to their demise or be smashed up badly enough that they could be more easily killed with a bow or a lance. Now, those folks didn't set out to running out into the prairie, hooting and hollering and wagging their arms and chasing buffalo in every direction. No, they used a lot of planning and a lot of stealth. They set out long before the buffalo came and put visual deterrents up along the horizon to keep the buffalo distracted and headed in their direction. And then when the buffalo came, they covered themselves in the hides of other animals and slowly drifted out into the herd. Slowly started to encroach on those animals, pushing them towards those cliffs. The visual deterrents out in front kept them mildly distracted, while the folks in hides and disguise kept pushing on them, foot by foot, buffalo slowly moving along. Now, they'd also been thinking ahead, and they put what out in front of the herd called front runners. And those were covered in buffalo hides, bent over, making like they were grazing along, slowly working towards that cliff, leading them along. is starting to sound familiar because we've got a group called the World Economic Forum. And for decades, they've been setting out visual deterrents, sending folks into amongst us covered in hides, disguises, slowly pushing us along, using those visual deterrents to keep us mildly distracted, while the front runners, covered in our hides, or called politicians, they're out there with a smile on their face leading us towards those cliffs. Because they know when the folks at the back suddenly stand up and spook the herd and use fear and distraction, running them towards the cliff, they're going to run too. But just at the last minute, they're going to turn off and hide behind the rocks and watch the unknowing pile over the cliff to their demise. We have a choice at this point in time, people. We can be a herd distracted and slowly pushed towards the cliff where we're suddenly spooked over by fear and distraction. Or we can do what a big old buffalo does when he sees an adversary coming. And that's to stand solid, get himself prepared, put his fucking head down, and smash it into the ground. I'm not going over any cliff, and I'm certainly not being pushed any further. I love each and every one of you. I hope a lot of you start to turn around with me and face what's coming. Because can you imagine what all of us with our heads down can do? Stay the course and get really fucking ready to resist.
He loves each and every one of you. Same thing the other guy says. They all say it. It's, I don't know. Hang on, I need to take a break to queue up some other important stuff for you. I'll be right back. Don't go away.
Feel the vibrations. Our quest continues. The truth is out there. We are Mavericks.
Okay, so remember Marcus Ray? And I can't say if Marcus Ray was or wasn't this or that, but the same kind of warnings came out from people who said that he's a Fed, whatever. Now we're hearing the same kind of stuff about what's going on down in Texas. The Canadian cowboy guy. You ever watch Bonanza? Ponderosa? Okay. I'm not going to run a clip because I don't want a copyright strike, but a lot on most of the episodes, at some point they have that cliched. The whole show is a cliche, really, and they'd be chopping wood out in front of the homestead, right? And with the Canadian cowboy, same sort of thing, or walking their horse, and it's just that's what they're doing there. They know exactly what they're doing in order. It's like you watch a you watch an infomercial for something medical, anything medical, and the doctor's always, it's just an actor wearing a white coat with a stethoscope around the neck, and you think you're looking at a doctor, right? It's a cliche. It's the same thing with these cowboy outfits, or on the Tucker Carlson thing. It prompted many people in the freedom movement to accuse Tucker Carlson of bringing in an actor who was playing the role of a trucker because the clothing looked so clean, pressed, crisp. It didn't look like the guy was actually a working man. It looked like he was a cliche. I get it. And I'm not saying it's this or that. I'm just telling you that people were making those accusations. We talked about it the other night. This Pete Chambers guy also immediately, when I saw his videos on the website, I'm like, that guy, exactly the same style, exactly the same rhythm as the Canadian trucker guy. Very similar, if not exactly the same style and speech patterns, even the same phrases as Marcus Ray. And I could go on. I'm also seeing, on the website, it's just odd. It's just kind of odd that I've connected a few names associated with the website and the Take Back Our Border Convoy with some of the activity that was kind of happening behind the scenes to some of these events in Canada that also were portrayed to people, promoted to people as being sort of a last stand, have to take, action now and resist. We're not leaving until we get what we want. In fact, there's some people who tried to make a stand. There was a convoy that went to Ottawa just recently, and people were told, go there right now, follow us. We're not leaving. We're going to make a last stand. Well, those people who are making the last, they're not there anymore. But I'll tell you this, the other thing that's happened is that in that case, some people were encouraged to sell everything they have, quit their jobs, and put it all on the line to go to make that last stand. Same kind of talk in some other cases for some of these other events. And some of those people lost everything that they had. There's a pattern developing there. Now, I don't know about this thing down in Texas, but it has a lot of those same elements. And I can understand why some people are expressing concern about this tonight, why that gentleman made that video warning people to steer clear. And he's not the only one. I'm seeing people in Canada also warning people to stay away from the border, telling Canadian truckers, don't go down there. Now, maybe that's why tonight we are not seeing the numbers that they were predicting, 40,000, 70,000, 700,000, let's dip back into this this footage if we can tonight. Actually, what I've got coming in is some other clips of some of the major players on the political side of this tonight. So let me bring those up for you because I think this is important stuff for people to see. Here we go. Here's Tim Burchett saying that he's standing with his colleagues from Texas over the anarchy at the southern border. Let me show you. So on the political side, for sure, this thing is escalating, and we definitely have a standoff. With a lot of people jacking this thing up, though, and there's a lot of fear surrounding this. People talking about a possible civil war as a result of all this. Alex Jones giving this high profile. Tucker Carlson giving this high profile. Now, I said last night, I don't think this is going to rise to the level of a civil war, but certainly politically, we're looking at a major standoff between the federal government and about 26 states. So here's Tim Burchett.
Hey everybody, Tim Burchett. Just leaving a press conference group from Texas. They are fed up with the federal government and their lack of ability and just appeasement to these cartels and everything else. And they should be. They have a constitutional right to defend themselves. It's very clearly laid out in the Constitution of their ability and duties of what they need to do. And the governor down there is doing the right thing. This federal government is Joe Biden. They're just a bunch of anarchists and they're liars. What we've got 8 to 10 million people come over the border in the last 3 years, larger than the state of Tennessee. $400 billion a year to keep them up, kicking kids out of schools so they can house illegals. The cartels selling children into the sex trafficking, and this White House just turns a blind eye. And they keep saying that if the Republicans will work with him, well, dadgummit, we've already sent him HR 2, which would shut the border down to do it all, had the funding in there, and he's just being very ridiculous. And obviously the polling showing he's hurting right now, and how Trump is strong on that issue. So, but anyway, we'll see what happens. We'll keep fighting. Thank y'all for sitting here.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's a real issue for sure. We know that. We absolutely know that. And then we have this Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick answering questions at the border here tonight as well. This just coming into us. Let me bring this up for you. And let's roll this, Dan Patrick.
Hey, great, Governor Patrick. Catherine, go back through the vote. Question about people coming across and concerns about whether or not these non-citizens may end up on the voter rolls.
I'm very concerned about that.
And we understand that Florida has access to the ICE database. Does Texas, are they going to be able to check to make sure that non-citizens aren't being added to the rolls? And if not, why not?
Well, we should, and remember, that's a local issue, as you well know. You and I have worked on Through the Vote for a long time. I can remember when you started, and you've done a fabulous job. And I believe in my heart of hearts, because you would ask, why would Joe Biden want to force everyone into an electric car that they don't go far? Why would he want to take everyone's gas stove away? Now he's stopping natural gas, which is clean. And why would he want 8 million people to come to the country? Why? It makes no sense. Where do they live? Where do they work? Where do they go? All the children and women that are raped or sex trafficked when they get here, they're drowned in the river, all his fault. So I believe, Catherine, it's because they have a long game, the Marxist leftist Democrats, because the Marxist leftists control the Democrat Party. It's not the Democrat Party of old. And they see this as potential voters one day, one way or the other. And that, I believe, it's all about. You have to have a reason. You have to, every American citizen has to ask, why is Joe Biden allowing 8 million people to come here? The blue cities don't like it. The blue states don't like it. The red states don't like it. Crime is up. Fentanyl is our #1 killer. Why would any president do that? And going back to the invasion question of what does, can you hold on a second? Can you hold a second? And go back to the question of the definition of an invasion. Our founders never believed that any president would ever just let millions of people come to the country.
Sir, the El Paso shooter railed against.
Okay, so as I say, like absolutely a legitimate, huge issue, but being thrust in front of people, I think right now, because it is an election cycle, it is the beginning of, the most important part of the election cycle. It's pretty clear this is going to be one of the main issues moving forward. Let's dip back in now to some of the footage from the highway from Oreo Express. And that clip from Dan Patrick from True the Vote. And again, like this gives you a sense of kind of what's going on the road tonight, though. I don't see 700,000. I don't see 40,000. I see dozens, maybe, at this point. Hard to say how many people might actually end up in Eagle Pass. But I'm just wondering where those numbers came from. That, can you imagine? Can you imagine? And I don't know what people are going to do when they get down there to Texas. I just, as citizens, what can you do other than protest? And if you brought that many people to Eagle Pass, where would everybody stay? I don't know. I said from the outset, they're not going to get 700,000 to Eagle Pass. It's not happening. They don't have enough time. And I'll tell you the other thing that's going on is, well, some people want to go there and help for sure. They want to do the right thing. They want to help the country. I get it. But I also see a lot of people asking for money. See a lot of people asking for money. And I don't even know how helpful it would be for people to show up down there. I think it'd be a whole lot more, just my personal opinion, to go protest at the damn White House. Okay, walk in. They wouldn't let the People's Convoy anywhere near the government buildings, which is why they ended up driving around in circles. They couldn't get in, but you could potentially walk in there, and a lot of protests happen when you walk in. I'd say you want to change what government's doing, that'd be the better place to go protest. That way you're not down there at the border where things might get hairy between federal and state and personnel that have weapons. Okay, if it ever came to that. And I don't think that it will, because these guys are professionals and they don't want to go to war with each other. And I don't think we're anywhere near that yet. We have a big political crisis on our hands, but you get a lot of citizens down there who are not professionals. That's where things might get a little out of hand. I don't know. That's where the volatility comes in. You leave it in the hands of the professional military folks, okay? And I think they'll take care of business. That's my personal opinion. Leave it for them. You want to go protest? That's fine. Keep it peaceful, fine. But I'm seeing things here that it looks to me, I have to agree with that gentleman who's raising some red flags here. It's like, it feels like a setup. And I'm getting word here also that some people who encouraged people to go and participate in some other events that were supposed to be a last stand and have taken a lot of money from people to go do things are asking for money again to go and make another last stand or whatever. Whatever, you can do whatever you want, folks. I'm just saying, I'm into doing things that are productive, that actually get real tangible results. And I kind of want to stay out of the way of professionals doing their jobs and not cause a problem. That's cause more of a problem than helping. I don't want to make things worse. So I think we all need to be careful about doing exactly that. Now, there is this, there's a give, send, go for this thing. They've raised a crap load of money already as a result of this, but the convoy itself not materializing the way that we were told it was going to. Not at all. Certainly not getting the numbers, right? And you don't want this kind of thing to backfire. We don't want another J6 incident, right? Where a lot of people end up in jail. We still have a lot of people in jail today. We saw that one protester from Coots sentenced to 10 months. He's going to go to jail for 10 months. I think we have enough people in jail already. And I don't know that it would ever come to that down there, but I'm just throwing all this stuff out there for your thoughts. The other red flag that's going up for me is nondescript sort of vague, I'll call them vague videos. Okay? Stuff that makes you think things are getting real bad, fear-mongering videos. Here's a video, and I've seen stuff like this over and over again as different incidents have erupted over time, where they really try to get people jacked up and fearful with videos that are sort of nondescript. It's like you could just put narration to this and turn it into anything you want. So here's video of some military equipment on trains, on a train that, you know, it's being, well, you watch it. This is supposed to be like the caption here.
Backyard.
It's like, oh, see, they're bringing all this equipment in to make a big stand at the border. Like there's going to be a war. But there's no proof of that. We don't know where these vehicles are going or why. We know there are training exercises taking place down in Texas with the National Guard. But you can jump to a conclusion, and if someone puts a caption to something, they can lead people to believe whatever they want. Like I could say, these are being sold to a foreign country, or these are all going to, this is the Biden administration sending armaments to Iran as a double cross to, you know, it wouldn't be true, but a lot of people would believe it. I don't know where those are going. Either does the guy shooting that video. And yet, if you go to his feed, it says the U.S. Army has deployed armored units to Texas for scheduled military drills. Yeah. Aligning with the movement of additional National Guard troops from various states dispatched to fortify Texas's border. Is that what they're going there for? Could be. I'm just saying, I don't know. And I think it's, you know, I'm an old school journalist, and to me, it's accurate without exception, first whenever possible. You want to be accurate. So, okay, all I know is there were military vehicles on flatbeds on that train going somewhere. It reminds me of the disaster, that environmental disaster in East Palestine, Ohio. And then people started making all these videos about, you know, train derailments here, train derailments there. And there was a video of just some chemical, like some tanker cars sitting in a field, a farmer's field on a railway track. And somebody posted this and it went completely viral. It was just in another state, like not even related to what happened in East Palestine. And people were saying, these things, this is something strange going on here. And this is it's a thing going to happen. And it's a disaster. It's just, and nothing ever happened, but people lost their minds over that. It's so easy for people to get, think about it, folks, the pandemic. What did they do to control people? They got people scared. And they got people to act irrationally, whoever they are. And there are many players involved in these things. And the pattern continues here. And out of that fear, they also get people to donate a lot of money. A lot of people do use the fear to get people to donate money. And anger. They get you angry. What's needed right now is people with level heads. We sure as hell don't want any kind of a confrontation. Like, I don't know about you. I don't want a civil war. Some people clearly do. And we need to be asking ourselves, I think, who those people are. And as time marches on and we continue to deal with all of these incidents one after another, as we continue to see this, I think the masks are coming off. We're beginning to see some of the who's who and what's what. And here's an example of somebody with a level head, I think, helping us out or trying to help us out on social media tonight. So this is a post from somebody with an account on Twitter called The Lasting Effect. He says, they do this multiple times a year when going to Fort Irwin for training. Don't believe the hype. And there's a whole bunch of tanks on the railway cars. Dated today, or actually yesterday, sorry. And coming up in my feed now. And then I have to ask myself, folks, again, why am I getting those feeds, those videos recycled? And it wasn't just one. I got 5 of them today of that Canadian cowboy guy. The same videos that were used over a year ago that really fueled a lot of emotions with people. And now suddenly, with all this going on, I'm getting them again. And now suddenly, a lot of the same people who are asking for money and promising that they were going to make a last stand a year ago, same people doing the same thing again right now. And it goes on and over and over and over again. And the result is nothing changes. Nothing gets solved. At least it hasn't. And then, well, if you criticize us, you're not a true freedom fighter. You know what? I beg to differ. Like the guy who made that video that I ran earlier, the travel guy, who's trying to just say, be aware, be cautious. If you go there, have your head up, because to him, this smells of a setup, just like J6. And I'm seeing the same patterns. I'm showing them to you here tonight in the best way that I can on the fly as they become apparent through the day and even as I sit here live tonight with you. And I'm seeing these same techniques used, the same cliches, the same styles of videos, the same narratives, just applied to the latest thing, the newest thing, to get people upset. And you know, it's not being done just here. It's being done around the world. So here's a site from Australia where they're using content from Canada to get people in Australia jacked up tonight. And we're seeing protests, you know. So here's footage from the convoy in Ottawa. But this is being shown to people in Australia, which, you know, cool. It's inspiring. At least this is, this was the peaceful stuff. This was the stuff that, you know, made history. At least I think it's history and should be remembered as an important Canadian milestone. But it's being used for propagandistic purposes in other countries for a variety of reasons. The other thing I've noticed is, remember that footage I showed you last night? This was strange. And again, I can't say for sure exactly what the motives are behind this gentleman with his channel, but I'm going to recue this and run just this very brief clip of what was supposed to be a migrant exchange as it was portrayed on his YouTube channel. But again, I told you this last night. I said, be careful. We don't really know what this is. And yet it's being interpreted as a migrant exchange. I'm going to run this again. Here we go. This was from yesterday, live at the time. And you can make of it what you will, but let's just
look at this. That's Border Patrol. That's Border Patrol. So Border Patrol does go in. That's Border Patrol. It has green on it. That's a Border Patrol van. So when they do this, this is sometimes a pickup spot, folks. So we'll see if anyone gets marched down or dropped off there for Border Patrol. Look, there's people getting out of that van. I can't tell what's going on.
So I don't think this. Yeah.
There's people getting in that van. They're doing an exchange. Let me see if I can get down here. They're doing an exchange.
So the only information I have is what.
Look, folks, they're doing an exchange.
What
Migrants
he's saying.
Look.
whatever
There
that
they are.
is.
So the van swapped them right there. Yeah. And they're doing that in an area. Look at that. And the van goes. There you go. Drop off the product, ship them onto the Border Patrol van. And now they're going. And the van's going that way. Look at that. So it is happening at that border entrance right there at the wall. Exchanges are going on. Exchanges are going on, folks. Huh.
I don't know. He's telling you something. Maybe what he's saying is true. Maybe it isn't. But that video is shot from like a mile away. You've got little specks of what appear to be human beings getting out of one van, getting into another. It could just be construction workers getting in from one van to another, getting a ride back to, I don't know. And neither does he. He doesn't know. But got a lot of people watching. Got a lot of clicks. I'm just saying. There's no way that he knows for sure what was going on down there. You couldn't even see what I couldn't see the faces. You couldn't see I don't know. So I don't know what I don't know. And that's the kind of stuff that's also going out on social media that is getting people jacked up, of course, right? But, and we, mainstream media too. You watch even Fox News and you watch these interviews and they recycle footage of, yes, actual footage of migrants at the border, long lines of them and so on. But you would, I know from working in media all my life that when they use that kind of footage, like that's not current. People believe when they're watching that footage that it's happening right then. And that's not to say that there isn't a problem. There is a problem at the border. We've seen the numbers. It's a huge thing. But the imagery is used as a cliche and it's recycled and it's not current. When they're on the air, they show the, all the, massive numbers of people coming across. It's just used in a way to illustrate a narrative that doesn't give you full context. Okay. In fact, you know what? Like, I'm going to try something right now to just try to get real context into what we're doing here. So I'm going to make a phone call live. Random, don't know who I'm going to get on the other end of the line. I'm going to call the Exxon gas station in Eagle Pass right now. And I'm just going to ask them what the heck is going on down there. Okay? Because I used to work at gas stations when I was a youngster, when I was working my way through college and university. And I know this, if there's something going on, they know about it at the local gas station, because that's where people stop to ask for directions. Everybody that comes through there through the day tells you what's going on all around town. Let's see what we get on the other end of the line.
Number 11.
Hello there. Won't keep you. My name is Rick Walker. I'm a journalist in Canada. I'm live on the air and I'm just trying to find somebody in Eagle Pass who can tell us, are you seeing a lot of protesters or migrants in town tonight?
Not in town specifically, but I mean, we have seen like quite a few before.
Okay. So are you getting like thousands of protesters down there today?
What was that, sir?
Yes. Are you getting a lot of protesters today?
No, not at all. I mean, I haven't really seen any at all.
Okay. And what about the migrants? Are you getting a lot of illegal migrants flowing across the border tonight?
Not really too sure.
I see. Okay. Well, listen, I know you're really busy there, so I won't keep you. What was your name, sir?
I am Jesus.
All right. Well, my name is Rick. I really appreciate you taking the time. I'm going to let you get back to your job. Thank you so much for speaking with me. Bye. There's one. Let's get another source, shall we? A real person. This is the Shell gas station at 2195 East Main, 830-773-9669. Real people on the ground. These guys know what's going on. Everybody goes through these places.
Hello. Leave a message.
Okay, too busy at that gas station. We'll try one more. This is the Exxon Street in another part of town over on Garrison Street, 585 East. 130-78228. First guy was pretty friendly. Now, maybe a little early. Maybe the protesters aren't quite there yet, but I think some of them are arriving. Hello, my name is Rick Walker. I won't keep you. I'm a journalist from Canada. I'm just trying to get a handle on whether anybody is down there, and I'm live on the air. We just want to know, are you seeing a lot of protesters come through town? We're told 700,000 protesters are on their way to Eagle Pass. Are you seeing that tonight? No. Okay. Any protesters at all? Any indication that you're getting a lot of people coming to town to protest? No. Nothing. Okay, that's interesting. What about, is there more of a military presence in town? A lot of army people? Yeah, quite a few. Okay. All right. Listen, is there anything else you can tell us that you think might be important? I won't keep you. I'll just ask you that last question. No. Are you worried? Is everything okay with you? Everything okay. Okay. Thank you. I know you're really busy, so I won't keep you. I'll let you get back to your job. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Take care. Bye. Bye. So no civil war yet, folks. There's two people, gas stations. Like I say, I just know from experience that if you want to know what's going on in town, you either go to the barber shop in the old days or just go to a gas bar and just ask, because those guys, they're there. They've got staff there usually 24 hours a day, around the clock. And everybody coming through there is driving. They stop, they get gassed up, they have little conversations. When I used to work the night shift and I knew everything going on in town. Cops used to come in and gas up at my station too. And they would tell me kind of stuff they'd been seeing through the night. You knew every bar brawl. You knew everything. I knew about people having affairs that they didn't want anybody to know about. So yeah. What can I say? So I hope that gives you a little bit more perspective as well. Just somebody on the ground, not materializing yet, but maybe over the next 24 hours, we will see more protesters arrive in town. And of course, we know that they are kind of on their way. But I would have thought you'd see, or at least be hearing about more action down there. Now, what else can I tell you? We've also got tonight. This is from about 9 hours ago, and this is a Fox News report. So let's bring this up and get their account of kind of what's going on. And I think they do have some on the ground footage and maybe even some aerial footage that we can share with you here to help give you some perspective on what's happening down there in Eagle Pass tonight. Because
that the federal government can remove the barbed wire in Eagle Pass, Texas, put in place by the Abbott administration to try to stem the flow of illegal crossings into America. Joining me right now, live from Texas, is the Lieutenant Governor, Dan Patrick. Governor, thanks very much for being here this morning.
Sure, Maria.
Assess the situation for us in terms of that barbed wire and what you're seeing with the illegals coming across.
So I was down there all day yesterday, first to let our troop
our troopers, our DPS troopers, and our soldiers know that we have their back because they have Texas back and America's back. We have fine young men and women down on the border protecting our border. In Shelby Park, let me give you an example. We put up the wire, we put up containers, and guess what? A few months ago, 3,000 were crossing a day, Maria. Today, zero yesterday when I left around 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So we know what we're doing in Texas works. For the Biden administration and Joe Biden and Mayorkas want to come in and cut the wire when we're having success makes no sense to anyone, even the rank and file Border Patrol on the border that we work very well with, Maria. It's just the politicos that he sends in to try to stir the pot. Look, they stood down. They said they're not going to cut the wire, and it's good news for them because they would have needed a lot of wire cutters because we have a whole lot of wire. And if they had snipped it and cut it, we would have replaced it right away. We're going to put wire down the entire border.
Well, that is going to be incredible pictures. There are cameras all over the place, but it will be really incredible pictures to see the Biden administration cut down the wire that you will put in if, in fact, it goes that way. But, you know, John Ratcliffe, who warned us about this 3 months into the Biden administration, says that, look, we didn't have a problem months ago. I can tell you that this was an issue that the Biden administration self-inflicted on this country. Why?
Because he is wrong-headed on a long list of issues. Okay, we can make a long list of issues, but this border issue is number one because fentanyl is crossing that border and killing more Americans than any other issue between 18 and 45, because we have women being raped, we have children being put into sex slavery, we have murderers, we have molesters, we have gang members, we have drug dealers, we have carjackers, we have kidnappers, all crossing with these millions of people. And he is wrong on this issue. He doesn't care because here's the agenda. Maria, America has to understand their agenda is they don't care if people die if they make their goal. And what is their goal? To put millions of people into this country, one day turn them into citizens, and one day turn them into voters and take over the country. That's their goal. And we all know it.
So
and let me say, yes, go ahead.
Yeah, how many people would you say that have crossed into America illegally on Joe Biden's watch? I mean, there are numbers, 8, 10 million. I want to get your assessment, the lieutenant governor of the state. How many people?
I've been studying this for 15 years. I track it by the year pretty much. And my data matches up much with MIT's data in 2016. We were averaging about 435,000 apprehensions most years. Think about that. Per year, and in December we had 300,000 alone. So under Joe Biden, we know the apprehensions, the people who come across the bridge and turn themselves in, want asylum, even though 90% don't qualify for it. We will be somewhere around 8 million with the gotaways at the end of Joe Biden's term, maybe as many as 10 million.
Wow.
Now, Maria, we don't catch everyone. So if you get 1 out of 2, we have 1,250 miles of border with Mexico. Our border, Texas and Mexico, is further than the distance between Atlanta and Portland, Maine. So there are people who get in that we don't see. So if you get 1 out of every 2, that's going to be 14, 15, 16 million people that have gotten into this country since Joe Biden has become president. That would make them, just alone, if you put them in one area, the 7th largest state. It would be the state of illegal immigrants after California, Texas, Florida, New York, Pennsylvania, Illinois, the state of illegal immigrants. And look, there are many people coming here for a job and a better life, but that's not our concern. Our concern is protecting Americans and protecting Texans from the criminals that come in, from the drugs that come in. And let me tell you this, Maria, this is a stat that many people have never heard. We've arrested 13,163 smugglers since we started Operation Lone Star several years ago. 90% of those smugglers are U.S. citizens. The drug cartels work with the gangs to distribute their drugs. They also work with the gangs to give them specific GPS coordinates where to pick up people crossing the border illegally. This year, we passed Senate Bill 4, I believe was the exact number. Senator Pete Flores passed this bill that now in Texas, when we arrest you, you're an American citizen, a minimum of 10 years in prison if you're a smuggler. But imagine that, 13,000 smugglers, almost all U.S. citizens, 90%, in coordination with the cartels. That's why, Maria, when I say it's an invasion, it is an invasion. It's a cartel army. You know, the founders never dreamed we'd have a president like this one who would just open the door to everyone. And they said, well, invasion if an army came. Well, we're facing an army. We're facing an army. And they're well armed, they're well coordinated, they're making millions and millions of dollars off of Joe Biden. Don't mess with Texas. We're serious about securing our border, and I'm glad the president stood down on Friday and did not confront us, that would be the wrong thing to do. We don't want a confrontation, and they shouldn't want a confrontation.
Well,
We're just doing our job. Let us do our job.
Because, I mean, what is this going to turn into a civil war? I mean, you've got the Texas rights versus federal rights, both sides with guns.
And we believe constitutionally we are right. We have a right to defend our citizens. We have a right to defend this country. And we're just doing the job. This whole idea of Shelby Park, that they would come there, is just ludicrous. Look, these young men and women who serve our National Guard and our DPS, these are the best of the best. Why would he want to send anyone down to confront them? I'm glad they stepped down, but they need to do the job. And the only reason he's paying attention now is because of the election in November. That's the only reason he's paying attention.
Real quick on the Chinese nationals, we've seen up 1,100%, you know, military-aged men. What are they doing here? What's your assessment?
We apprehended someone from Lebanon the other day. What's he doing here? Why are they here from Syria? Why are they here from Nigeria? Why are they here from most of the countries in the world? How did they get here? Who's paying for it? Look, the Chinese nationals, when I first went to the border in 2007 as a freshman senator, I saw signs in Chinese Mandarin at that time, in 2007. We already knew they were coming back then. So we're being invaded. Make no mistake. One message, America, we're being invaded. Joe Biden, Mayorkas, Kamala Harris, all are lying about it. As I call them, along with Jean-Pierre, they're the four horsemen of the apocalypse. And the last horseman in scripture says, and death came with them. And every death, whether they drowned in the river, whether they're killed in America, whether it's by MS-13, they're all on the hands of Joe Biden.
Thank you so much, Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick. We so appreciate your time this morning. We'll keep watching. One note, we originally planned to bring you an interview with President.
Okay. Oh, Canada RV says a real journalist would go there, not call. Well, you want me to go to Texas? It's possible. I'll tell you, I just sent somebody to Hawaii asking around about those missing kids. Another weird one, right? Thousands of missing kids. So the challenge is still out there. The favor that I asked is still out there for the entire Maverick family, for all of our viewers. If you know a mother, a father, a sister, an aunt, an uncle, a grandparent, a second cousin, a third cousin, anyone, if you can get me in contact with anyone who is related to any child that apparently was abducted when the wildfire in Lahaina occurred, because apparently, you know, we were told there are thousands of missing children. Let's get them on the program. I won't get into what, you know, I learned from the person that was sent to Hawaii tonight, but maybe we will a night this week, because I still am hoping that someone can help me, because I have not personally been able to get into contact with anybody that's out there searching for their missing child as it relates or is connected to the wildfire in Lahaina. So I'm still hoping that you guys can help me with that. So Canada RV, I'll put that challenge to you as well. And, you know, if you guys want me to go to Hawaii, or rather to Eagle Pass, or if there's a Maverick family journalist who is free to go, maybe we can talk about sending somebody down there to get the real story on the ground, so we don't have to rely on other people sending us videos. And as I just showed you, I mean, I'm in contact with people down there, and I'm just getting you real information in real time. I learned a long time ago, working in radio, that the most powerful tool that a radio journalist has is the telephone, because it puts you in touch with the world. And now the most powerful tool that we have at our disposal is the internet, live streams, videos, and we're bringing you footage from the scene, from other freedom reporters, people that we reach out to, people that we talk to on the ground. We do have people down there. So, but if you want me to go, RV, well, what can I say? It costs money, takes time. And I'm not here trying to grift. I'm just trying to pay the bills for the phone. You want me to get a plane ticket and go down? That's another matter. But we can look at it. Leave it up to you guys. Don't go away. More coming up right after this.
The New World Order. Government overreach. The Great Reset. Mainstream media lies. Now more than ever, independent voices are needed. Donate now at freedomreporters.com. That's freedomreporters.com. Maverick News. The antivirus program for your mind.
Now, see, I would say that what Canada RV was suggesting is probably a good suggestion. Definitely a good suggestion. But got to stay within our means and do what we can do and keep it practical. So leave that out there with you guys. Where are we at now? So we're coming up on a point in time when I think we can go to the phones and maybe take a couple of phone calls. So let me get the phone lines set up here, and I'll be back on the other side of this to give you guys a voice so you can weigh in on this conversation tonight.
Maverick News. The world is watching. Maverick News. The world is watching.
Okay, the phone lines are set up. This is the number to call.
Join the conversation. Call 1-833-975-3733. That's 1-833-975. Free. Speak up. Speak out. Make your voice heard. Maverick News. Fighting for freedom by defending your right to free speech. Be a Maverick. Join us.
Okay, we are ready to take our first caller of the night. Let's go to the phones. Here we go. Go ahead, sir. You're on the air.
Woo-wee, Ricky Walker. You got the mouth that self a man without a plan, the master of everybody's disasters tonight.
How are you tonight, Sir Leo?
I'll tell you, you got over 500 people watching on Rumble tonight and another 300 on YouTube.
Well, it's a hot topic.
You're going to the big leagues, mister. You're going to the big leagues.
YouTube can't stop us. The censors be damned. What do you think of this situation at the border?
I think it's pure gold what you did with the phone calls to the gas stations. Yeah, that was pure gold.
That's real.
I don't know what to make of it. Yeah, it was real. Somebody said for me to go down to Texas, people put in a GoFundMe, but that would be an amazing story because I'm not allowed in the U.S., so I'd have to smuggle myself somehow across the border, which would be pretty easy, right? So I'd be smuggling myself in the United States to go cover the illegal immigration in the U.S. That would be a fucking story. That'd be a blockbuster.
That's funny.
illegal
Canadian immigrant goes to Texas to cover story about illegal immigration.
Hey, you could make up a better story than that. I know a way I could get across really easy. If I get a hold of that Canadian cowboy guy, maybe they could stuff me up the ass of a buffalo and get me across the border that way.
Yeah. Oh,
pure gold story, Rick. I'm telling you, it is what it is.
Yeah.
I see a lot of grifting that's going to happen.
Yeah.
A lot. I wish you had the numbers on
that one website, the one thing alone, they've already raised $136,544, and that's just from the one Give, Send, Go that I'm seeing tonight.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, if they raise that kind of money for me to go to Texas, I'll go to Texas, but I'm crossing over to Mexico and staying.
Yeah.
Vacation time.
Yeah, it's warmer down there for sure.
Yeah. As for the video with the vans, like you said, there's machinery right there. Maybe it was construction workers on that side of the border, right?
Who knows? I don't know. Right.
Who knows, right?
Yeah.
You're going to see a lot of people out there because people like to see, like to hear shit, and that's what I'll call it, is shit. Okay, and make up stories about this and that, right? It's where we're at today.
Yeah, some people like
funny,
the
right?
adrenaline that they get from the fear and the anger and the negative shit, right? So they eat that stuff up. It's true, they do.
It's true, right? So it's dirty laundry. That's what we'll call it. Just like Don Henley sang the song "Dirty Laundry."
Yeah.
Okay, and he knew back then when he made that song. If you listen to that song and the words of that song, right? The bubble-headed bleach blonde comes on at 5. She could tell you about the plane crash with the blink of an eye.
Yeah,
okay?
with a gleam in her
dirty
eye.
Laundry.
Yeah.
Right. It's dirty laundry, and people love it. They love it.
Yeah. Well,
it's pretty sad.
In the journalism business, you know that there's a dark saying, and that is that if it bleeds, it leads.
That's right. And you know what? I watched a thing on Netflix the other night, okay, about the story about the remember Gone Girl, the movie Gone Girl. Now I remember the story vaguely, and people like Nancy Grace, okay, they all got involved. There was a kidnapping in California, okay, in the Huntington Beach girl, whatever, right? The guy came in, frogman in the scuba diving gear, put the glass. It was so far-fetched. Nobody believed this shit, okay? Well, there's a documentary out on Facebook or on Netflix, right, about that story. That was a true story, okay? And the cops tried covering it up, and at the end, they found the rightful guy who was the frogman, who was implicated in a number of different sexual assaults, right? So you had Nancy Grace out there, and all the media that fucking hung the two people, called them liars, defamed them, the whole 9 yards, and everybody is making up death threats to these two people. Even the police called them liars.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So, dirty laundry. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
So, I think somebody going down to Texas, going live, and getting it live, because live don't lie, right? So, that would be a great idea for somebody.
Well, I don't know. Let me see what I can work out.
I'd have to put. You should send Kevin Westfield down there with his cowboy hat and his pickle stabbers.
Yeah, see, he'll fit right in. He'll fit right in.
And he'd do a video. I like Kevin. He'd fit right in.
Yeah, absolutely.
He sent me a picture of his pickle stabbers, and if you people don't know what pickle stabbers are, those are cowboy boots. And when you get kicked in the crotch, it's a pickle stabber.
Yeah, pointy toes.
Pointy toes, right. Okay, I'll let you get to your next call, Rick. I don't want to take up too much of your time. But
Okay,
yeah, that was awesome. Keep calling around. You'll find the true story.
Yeah, we certainly will. That's the objective here. Thank you,
Take
Leo.
care.
All right, take care, my
Bye.
friend. Okay, and you can call in at 1-833-975-3733. That's 1-833-975-FREE. And we'll continue our conversation on this Texas border issue. People throwing that word, that phrase around, civil war. Do you think that's a real threat tonight? Or is it an exaggeration? Is the media just fear-mongering, getting people jacked up? You tell me when you call in tonight at 1-833-975-3733.
Maverick News. The world is watching.
Feel the vibrations. Our quest continues. The truth is out there. We are Mavericks.
Okay, folks, let's go to our next caller. And you can call in at 1-833-975-3733. Who's on the line?
Hello, how are you tonight, Rick?
I am just fine. How are you, Chris?
Or should I say Sir Rick? And Sir Leo and Sir John. Actually, that was really cool what you did, that little thing you did yesterday. But you know, Rick, you got to include some Maverick women. Can't be all guys.
Oh, we're getting there.
Cartoon.
We're getting there. Don't you worry about that.
I think Leo had it right on the ball. I think you're in the wrong market. You should be doing those things instead.
Well, it's all in the same vein. Anyway, you go ahead. What are you thinking?
Well, I think this Texas nonsense. I think it's a lot of fear mongering. I don't think it's going to pan out to be much of anything myself. I can't see this big convoy going down there because from what I'm seeing on videos, there's not very many traveling anywhere down there. Just what I'm seeing.
Yeah,
and I feel it's a big distraction that's getting everybody's attention for something that's going to come that we're not even seeing.
Mm-hmm.
That's just my opinion. I'm not trying to fearmonger people, but I feel something's coming. And
Well, yeah, I
this
mean, the
is-
reason I
this is
pointed out all
taking
those
everybody's
videos and the
attention.
similar, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. You go ahead.
No, it's okay. No, you go ahead.
No, that's just why I was pointing out those videos, the similarities between them. I don't think it was any accident that I was being fed those videos of the real Canadian cowboy again a year later.
Right.
You know, recycling these videos that are designed, I think, to get people emotional and to prompt them to take action. I think that there are elements or people out there that they're trying to get people to go down, right? And that's what we're seeing.
Yeah.
It's like a campaign, is basically what I'm saying.
Mhm.
There are people out there who want you to go. The real question, though, is why? Are these people that are trying to start a civil war, or are they trying to do something that's right for the country, or maybe both? I mean, it depends on your perspective on something like that, right?
Right.
But
Right.
why?
Right.
And is what they're doing ethical? Is it proper? And are people thinking properly and for themselves when they're being bombarded with that kind of messaging? Because as that other gentleman pointed
Yeah.
out, the government has had a long time, these politicians, including Governor Abbott, and even Trump had, 4 years in office to really do something about it. He tried to get the wall built, I guess, but fell short.
Yeah.
Whatever. The point is, this has been going on for a long time. Why right now, and why the emotional pitch? And I don't like personally to act out of emotion. I want to think before I act. And is it
Right.
really the right thing to
Right.
do to rush down to that border point right now and get involved in some thing, whatever it is? Don't know.
Right. Well, I don't think it's a good idea. I think it was great that you made those phone calls to those gas stations. I mean, obviously they sounded a little surprised at who you were, and they didn't want to give up much information, which I wouldn't either if I was on the other end. But at least they told you kind of what we wanted to hear, right? They're not getting bombarded at the gas station overrun. You know what I'm saying?
Well, if you had
It's not
even
happening.
40,000 people coming to town, you would think that some of them would be trickling in now, and you would see people stopping in to gas up their trucks or cars or SUVs.
Yeah.
Not seeing it.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. I don't think I like I said, I get that people want to save their country. We all want to save our countries, right? But you know where that leads when a whole bunch of people get together, and like you said, it can go very peacefully, or it can go really ugly really quickly.
Yeah.
And they have guns down there. They carry guns, right? I mean, they can do that. I don't know if Canadians, personally myself, should be going down there getting involved in it. I mean, I guess that's everybody's own if they want to go or not. I just have a suggestion for you. If you want to go, perhaps you could get a ride with Ron Clark, because apparently he's out there trying to gather money to go down to the Texas border. So I thought maybe you guys could ride together.
Oh, well.
And you're going to kill me for that. I know you're.
Well,
I
maybe my good friend Ron will call and offer me a ride so that I can go down there and send you guys back live footage as well.
Yeah.
Isn't
I
that
don't know.
interesting? Yeah.
Yeah, that's just kind of what I've been hearing. I don't know. I heard he did a video this afternoon. Haven't watched it, so I'm not sure. But that's just what I'm kind of hearing, because you can be sure that these freedom guys are all going to want to go down there because it's a convoy, right? And they like their convoys. I'm just saying.
They do.
I just think Canadians need to stay out of it. I mean, like, don't go there. Like, even the mainstream media, Rick, I don't see a whole lot of it, of talking, I don't watch a lot of mainstream, but I don't really see a lot of it being talked about on the mainstream, what's going on down there. So I have to question, we're getting all these videos, but mainstream's not really bombarding us, at least not in Canada with it anyways.
And, you have to think ahead too, Chris. If a Canadian goes down to protest anywhere and things don't go well and you get arrested, you're a Canadian in the United States. Think about what the implications for you would be. You're not an American, you're a Canadian citizen, and you get arrested for something political. you're probably never going back to the U.S. if you get back, if they even let you out of the country to come back to Canada.
If they even let you out of the country. I know.
You end up in
Yeah,
jail like
I
those
just-
J6ers and you're Canadian. I think you're double screwed. Right?
Yep.
Think of, I'm
Yeah.
just saying, man, like, I know people want to stand up and take action. I get it. But at the same time, we need to think, I just hope that people think about their families, their futures, their children, you know, what risk you would be taking participating in something like that, what that would mean to your family. We're seeing too many
Oh, I
people in
hear
jail
that.
as far as I'm concerned. And I'm not saying that they're going to
Yeah,
go
well,
to
I hear
jail
that.
for sure either, but it is
No.
obviously a volatile
No.
situation. And
Yeah.
think
Well,
before you act.
didn't that James Stollery or something get some jail time today? I heard, or
10
something?
months. 10 months.
Yeah, and that's really tragic in a way that he got that. I mean, for really what they're saying he did. But I'm just thinking, if he got that, the 10 months, what are the Coos boys going to get then? You know what I'm saying? Like,
don't know.
And their charges are a lot greater. So you have to kind of wonder, like, the courts are still corrupt up here. But I think Canadians, yeah, we need to pay attention to what's going on in the States because it does involve us. But we also need to pay attention to what's going on up here, and we need to kind of protect our own country too, right? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm not trying to turn one against the other, but instead of going all the way down to Texas to protest, maybe we can think of ways in Canada that we can save our own country. I mean, without having massive protests or convoys, right?
Well, I've seen
just a
over the
thought.
last, few years, a lot of driving around and the people's protest in the U.S. You know what ended up happening with that is it fell apart. They went to Washington. They couldn't get in with their trucks. They ended up camping outside the Capitol at a raceway.
Right.
Then they all started fighting. There was some grifting going on. There was money, I think, stolen or whatever. There was a big fight over that because they couldn't get into the Washington area where the government buildings were. They drove around and around in circles for a while. Then they ended up driving back and forth across the United States about twice or three times. And they were burning up fuel like it was no tomorrow. It almost makes me think like that was by design to bankrupt the protesters. So let's go drive across the United States. Do you know how much money it costs to drive a transport truck across the country and back again?
Yep.
And they're asking people to donate, but a lot of the guys didn't have enough. Some people lost everything they had. And I'm seeing that pattern as well within the freedom movement. And that's not right. We don't want people destitute, living homeless because they were out protesting. That doesn't help them. It doesn't help them, us, the country. It doesn't help anybody. This is not good. Think.
No, it's exactly. Think. And you know what? I have to question, would the Canadian border guards, knowing that there could be a whole bunch of Canadians ganging up to go down there, do you think that the United States border would even let them in?
I don't know what if you roll up to customs on the U.S. side and say, yeah, I'm going down to Texas to participate in this protest. I don't know how they would view it. And they might just say, okay, go ahead. Or they might say, no, you're not. I don't know.
It's hard to say which way that would go. But yeah, I know, like you said, there's a lot of, this past weekend they had that Coots second anniversary, and apparently there was, I don't know, close to 200 vehicles just driving around. And then all the police that have to now sit there and watch to make, so now you're taking police time away. Yeah, I get it. They want to support the Coots boys, but that's just, to me, just a whole lot of fuel being wasted. That maybe that money could go towards the Coots boys.
Yeah.
Their family.
Yeah.
Just again, it's just all my thoughts. I mean, everybody has their own ideas, but I just think common sense is not prevailing anymore.
It's politicized, right? So, those guys are, in a way, martyrs for the freedom movement. They're, viewed as heroes by some people. I am reserving judgment because I simply don't know what the evidence is. And until I know what the evidence is, when it all comes out in court, and eventually it will, I don't know. Now, I think that their trial has been is it's dragged on far too long. That's an injustice in itself. No question about that.
Yeah.
As for the charges, how can I possibly know?
Yeah, and that's the thing. And remember, I'll just keep you here for another minute. Do you remember they had something about an envelope that wasn't opened or something? Remember for the Coots boys?
No.
Remember something about they talked about an envelope a while ago? So I don't even know what that was about. Like, did they open that envelope? Did they not open it? What was it? You heard about it and then you never heard no more about it. Kind of bizarre.
Not familiar enough to know what that piece of evidence is about.
Yeah.
And there is some evidence that is
here in Alberta.
I know there is some evidence that is, you can report on, but as is pretty much routine in Canada, there is a publication ban on most of the evidence at this point. It will eventually, during trial, it will finally be released, but they don't want to prejudice a jury, which is the main reason they say that the information can't be released. And that's pretty standard. But what isn't standard is the amount of time that has transpired with them being in jail without bail or a trial.
Yeah, that's way
that's
too
not
long. That's really corrupt. I'm sorry. I agree. You know what? Even if they just let them out, say on some bail money, and then put restrictions on them. Okay, so you're under house arrest, but you know what? They'd still be with their families, which is better than sitting in a remand center, right? Like, why couldn't they even do that?
Yeah, well,
there's got to be a give somewhere here, right? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. So I can't pass judgment one way or the other. Me personally, that's where I stand. Other people are quite willing to throw their support behind them because they're just convinced that they're innocent and being railroaded. You can come to that conclusion if you choose to, but I personally, I don't know because I just don't have the evidence. And there's no way for me to
and I'm kind of with you. And I'm with you there, Rick, because we don't really know the evidence. So I'm kind of, until you hear exactly what it is, it's, you think about what, in your mind. But again, I'm like you, I'm not passing judgment. I'm not, I think it's terrible they're in there that long. But again, we don't know what's really holding it up, right? So,
yeah.
Anyways, I just wanted to let you know that Trudeau was back in the House today.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So, so when you get a chance, you might want to watch some of the videos with him and Pierre going at it. It's quite comical.
What were they on about today? I didn't have enough time to get into too much Canadian stuff.
I guess the Liberals want to change the carbon tax, do a reform on it, name it something else now, because I guess, and of course, Pierre wants Trudeau to end the carbon tax, and of course he's on about his vacation, and he's saying, why don't you do the right thing and basically step away, because you have Liberals, like 2 Liberal members for sure want a review, right? So it was actually quite intense today, if you can find it. So
yeah.
Anyways, Rick, I don't know if you have other calls, but
just a question. Did they talk at all today about electoral reform? Because I know that this week it was just announced that the Liberals and the New Democrats, Trudeau, is going to engage in electoral reforms. And some are saying, of course, that's going to change the rules basically before going into the next federal election because he's tanking in the polls.
Yeah, they want it. It wasn't brought up today. It might be. I mean, today was only the first day back, right? But yeah, there's a lot of talk of that going on. Definitely, that's been in newspapers and all over, right? I mean, he just wants to extend voting 3 more days, and then people can vote wherever they want. So, I'm sorry. I hope that doesn't ever get to go through, or we're in big trouble. I can say we're going to be in big trouble. But yeah, I'll keep an eye on that for you. But if Pam's listening, I just hope that she's recovering really well and that she's doing okay, and we miss hearing her voice.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'll let you go from there, Rick, and you have a good night.
All right. Thank you, Chris. Chris calling all the way from Alberta tonight. Talk to you later.
Okay. Bye-bye.
See ya. Okay, and let's just dip back in here for a moment and we'll show you some live footage from the convoy tonight. Do we have the live feed? I believe we do. Here we go. Get this queued up for you. Live footage on the road. This is the convoy that left from Virginia this morning. They are on their way to Eagle Pass this evening. Of course, nowhere near the 700,000 that we were told they were going to have, but nevertheless on their way. This feed from Oreo Express. And other people saying, you know, it's going to be, well, 40,000. Well, I don't know. Maybe it will be. Maybe we'll get a lot more. I don't know. We'll see. You know, I think we get a better handle on what kind of turnout ultimately they will be getting by tomorrow morning, midday. We'll certainly get you up to date on exactly what's going on down there in Eagle Pass with our broadcast tomorrow night. We'll update everything and devote as much time as we need to make sure that we get you the real story and get you as close to the truth as we possibly can. And there we go. So with that being said, and we said a lot tonight, I think what we'll do is wrap it up for the evening because it is that time of night. So let me pull that banner down. Thank you, everybody, for spending the time with me here tonight on the Maverick News Channel. If you are liking what you see, if you want to support our work here, just make sure you hit that like button, share, subscribe on YouTube, on the channels that we're running on over there. Please consider subscribing over on our Rumble channels. That would really help us a lot. That is where we are growing the most. That is where we need to grow. That is the anti-censorship platform that we're on, and it's so important to us because they keep, you know, pushing our head down under the water over at YouTube and Facebook. And I have to admit that it is frustrating. But we're working around it. We're on all these other platforms and growing like crazy. So really appreciate it. We're fighting back because we used to have a huge audience on Facebook and much less so now. If you are inclined, you can support our work by donating at maverickdonations.com, maverickdonations.com, or where most people donate is at freedomreporters.com. So really would appreciate any support that you can provide in that regard. We do have shirts still with embroidered long sleeve shirts, similar to this one that I'm wearing now with the Maverick News logo, embroidered for $60 donation. I will send you a shirt at no extra charge. Just make sure you tell me what size you need. We also have some hoodies still left with the Maverick logo on the front. Also $60, and I'll send you a hoodie if you want, or a $30 donation if you would like a t-shirt. We have some Maverick News t-shirts in stock. Also some Exile the Knights of Malta shirts. We still have some of those in stock as well. As well, if we don't have your size, I'll message you back because we did have a few people pick up a few of those. freedomreporters.com and is the place to go to donate. And I really appreciate that. If you want me to go to Texas, send me some messages, I guess. It's difficult to man things from the studio RV. And Canada RV being one of our regular viewers. For those who don't know, a little difficult to be here in the studio and be on my way to Texas at the same time. So it would be a little disruptive, but maybe we can arrange to get some boots on the ground and a camera in hand down there on the front line in Eagle Pass, Texas over the next couple of days. Maybe I'll make a couple of phone calls and see what we can do. So if you want that to happen too, I would need to help whoever we send. So, again, up to you guys how far you want us to go with our coverage here. If you want to support something like that, you know how to donate. I just gave you the information, freedomreporters.com. But I will be back tomorrow night, sitting in this chair, in this studio. Same Maverick time, same Maverick station, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Catch you guys tomorrow on the flip side.
This has been a Maverick Multimedia production.